that like button as you come in. Hit that like button as you come in. All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good people. Welcome back to the Real Precious. Thank you guys so much for being here. I see a lot in the chat already. Before we start, guys, just know tonight is sponsored by jecreativehosting.com. So if you guys need a website and you need someone to host it, definitely go on over to jecreativehosting.com. Use a special code of HCM22 for your special discount. But I appreciate everyone who is here. Definitely hit that thumbs up button when you come in. Invite a friend. Tell your friends to tell their friends to tell their friends to join us over on The Real Precious tonight because we're going to have a good conversation. Tonight's topic is why are you scared to leave? We're going to start with cheating and we're going to end with cheating. You know, just that's how we're going to flow tonight. All right. We got a couple of things in store for y'all. So definitely, and hit that like button, share the live, and we even going to drop the link for people to join the show. So definitely stay tuned, be in tune, keep your eyes and ears open. Okay, Tarika, thank you so much for being here. Evening, everyone. Please hit the like button as you come in. We have Chew the Fat with Smooth Podcast says he's locked in. King Smith letting y'all know what's going on. Q, thank you so much for being here. The Lapeef Network, I see you in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Oh yeah, oh yeah. He said he is ready. Okay, even typing that reads creepy. What? Even typing that reads creepy. I don't know. Maybe I need to catch up. And tune. Thank you so much, Sean, for being here. All right, we're gonna get started. Hey, Team Fatty, thank you so much for being in the building. I appreciate you. Um, we're gonna get started and say hello to our panel this evening. We have my co-host, the actual King Smith. How are you this evening, sir?
Hey, I'm doing all right. I'm just over here laughing at the fact you put up a reel a couple of days ago, and I said, "Dang, why do Precious look like she just got done with Jedi training?"
I was traveling, okay? I was traveling. All right. It was cold on that train. Had to put my hood on. You know how in the back in the day, Parents used to be like, "Put a hat or put a hood on your head for you catch a cold." Child, it was cold on
Yeah.
that train. I was like, not today, not today."
Glad to be here, though. I'm glad that you got my joke, Precious, y'all. Hey, shout out to you and our pain as well. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks for being here. I appreciate you for being here. Arpain, how are you this evening, sir?
I'm doing okay. Can't complain. Thanks for letting me come up.
Of course, of
Uh,
course.
hopefully everybody else is doing well as well. So we're talking about cheating. I don't know about that. I don't know what cheating is.
Woo! Hold your horses, hold your horses. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. All right. We're
Okay.
gonna start out with mixed messages because that's what this Monday show used to be about originally. And so we tried to throw them in there tonight. I tried to get away from it. King was like, "Aren't we going over this tonight?" And I was like, "Huh? What you talking about?" And then I said, "You know what? You're right. You're right. We have these mixed messages to go over." So we're going to start with that, and then we're going to get into a story that King is kind of going to take the lead on because I'm not too familiar with this football player, but we're going to get into a story with him, and then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the show.
Sure.
Let me get to these messages because y'all know I'm blind, okay? Blind. And I can't see that far on the screen, so I need it up close and personal before we start. Hank, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. Hank probably still getting that nourishment. Y'all know how he do. All right, so we going we gonna welcome him in when he's ready. So let me get these messages up
Oh,
here. King,
hold
you're
up.
sharing it? Okay.
Yeah, I was.
It's
Tag
all
team
good. I see
back
some more
in.
people in the chat. Brett, thank you so much for being here. Grooming and reviews. Hey to you. Hola, hola, hola. And I see a Cholo Vlogs in the
Oh,
chat.
vlogs.
How you doing? Yep, I'm against cheating too. Okay. Lying with my glasses. Okay. It's the light. It's a lot going on over here. It's a lot. Okay. Alrighty. So we're gonna get into these messages. And I start off with question mark, question mark.
What?
So your phone does work. I know you got those messages from your son. Is there a reason you haven't responded back?
What messages?
Be for real. He told you many times he wanted the Segway 9 bot go-kart.
I want a Bentley Bentayga. That don't mean I'm gonna get it. So what's your point?
You have a child to take care of. That's all he wants for Christmas.
Why don't you get it for him then? I ain't spending $1,000 for no damn go-kart. I'll get him some games with his PS5. I just bought him some clothes, shoes, and $150 gift card. That's all. Now leave me alone, woman.
He didn't ask for that shit. How come you can't do this one thing for him? You always disappoint him, then get mad when he called my man dad. This is your fault. A dad is supposed to provide for his kids. I know you got the money, you just don't care about your son, and that's why he don't like going over there. I will let him know you said no. You effing dang, she went in. Pastor?
$10,913.
What the hell is that amount for?
Yep, my bad. $7,425 is what I paid in child support this year. $620 for the PS5 bundle that you begged me to get them. $750 I sent them on Cash App this year. $468 to help you with your phone bill and your light bill. $1,050 to help you on your rent this year. $375 is the money I sent you on Cash App for food help. And $225 is what I gave your dusty ass last month for your window. Now tell me again, how am I the bad guy? I get my son on the weekends and never missed a support payment in 7 years. Now you do a list on how you helped.
I ain't reading all that.
You know what? Kay, reading was never your strong suit anyway. I'll see you on Friday.
Middle finger emoji. All right. So
Jesus Christ.
what's going on? What's going on, Mr. He said? How are you?
Hey.
Good.
What up?
Payne, what's good?
Hey man, what's happening? Good, everything good. Everything's good.
King, are you available? Calling King. All right.
He's there
He's
somewhere.
still getting his nourishment. All right. So, what do you guys think about this scenario? Is there a mixed message here with the understanding of what the son is supposed to get this Christmas?
Well, I think the message from the ladies. Oh, go ahead. Unless you want me to answer. Go ahead, King. You was gonna say something.
No, I was gonna say I don't think that it was a mixed message. I think that she just tried to shame him into getting him to do something, and he stood on his business and said, "Hey, this is what I've done this past year and over the last couple of years as well." So that shame tactic that you're trying to do on me ain't gonna work.
Right.
Yeah, her message is clear. She's disgruntled, and it's not much. The only way he should act is the way he is acting. I think men make a mistake getting down into the weeds when their lady acts up like that. I think that's what they want from you.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that he handled it the best way he knows how. Here's the facts. No matter what else you say, I'm just leaning on these. That's it.
Because he showing up did list them. Okay, every amount.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, keeping record. Hello, Hank. How are you?
How you doing, man? I just got done giving the last rights to the Philadelphia Eagle and the fans, so that's one.
One game, man.
Here,
One game.
Okay. Look at here. All right, everyone's entitled to a bad game.
Is that what you call?
Yes. Okay, we're gonna come back
Who
stronger this
lost?
Sunday
Who
against the
lost?
Cowgirls.
Who lost?
We lost on
Jesus
Sunday.
Christ.
We took that L. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay.
But let's say we don't get off the subject. We want to stay. But I just had, but you called me in the middle of the day, and I was, oh Lord, I was giving his last rites. I was paying my homage to the fallen.
Oh gosh, Hank, did you hear the messages that me and King read?
No, I didn't. I apologize.
Woo, well, we ain't gonna read it again, but I'll give you a synopsis.
I know that's right.
Mother and father of a child. The mother wants the father to get him this expensive go-kart, and the father said, "Look, I done spent X amount of money. I'm gonna get him this, and he's gonna be happy with that." And so we're just talking about the exchange because he did list, the things that he did purchase for the child. And the mother pretty much is saying, "Hey, look, this is your fault. You never, take care of him, and this is why he don't like going over there." I think you're on mute.
Sorry. I said, is that what the kid's saying, or is that what just the mama's opinion?
That's the mother's opinion. That's what she said.
Fuck your opinion, woman. Who gives a crap? Look here. More than likely, this man knows what her son needs, and an expensive go-kart is just not it, right? I mean, more than likely, what do you need a go-kart for? I mean, I don't know what I consider a go-kart. They was them old school things you built with your old lawnmower wheels and all that. I don't know what he about trying to get a souped up go-kart. What are we doing here? I don't know. Unless it's one of them old battery powered cars. And
Right.
how old is the young man? I mean, is he really old enough where he can handle a go-kart, something like what she's talking about? Who knows? It's crazy. But look, I'm gonna get you a few things of what you need, and then I'm gonna get you one big gift, and then whatever that child support, because I'm sure he's probably paying child support. I think should cover the rest, man. Every month you get a sizable check. Yeah, I'm gonna let you do what you do, but I'm going to get him some things. I'm gonna make sure I get the necessities, some new underwears and some socks and some t-shirts or whatever the case may be, maybe some sleepwear. But if you want something, a bit more expensive, want something, maybe a couple pair of shoes or maybe an outfit or two, I'm gonna make sure you have it. Maybe depending on his age, I may even give him a little a gift card, with a certain amount of dollars on it. But no, we're not going to invest in this overly expensive golf cart. Why? Because your mother said so, and the reason why you don't want to come over because you're, I'm not, spoiling you, I guess so to say. No, we're not doing that. He might have a problem coming over because of structure over there at home, and he's not used to that. Maybe that's what it is. It's more. There's more expectations, and he's not gonna let him get away with the bullshit like he may get away with the mama's house. He go around, sit on his ass all day, he ain't got to do no chores, do nothing. Play Fortnite. Do the kids still play that? I don't know. Play Madden or whatever he do. Play video games all day, and really have little to no responsibilities, other than probably just taking out the trash every once in a while. But you come over to daddy's house, like I do with my sons, you got to cut grass. Oh, you got to fold laundry. Oh, you got to clean up. That ceiling fan needs to be touched up. I need for you to get up there, do what you got to do. Yeah, we're going to do that. We work around here. You don't just sit on your ass like you do with your mom. This ain't your mom's house. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but this is your reality. So maybe that's the reason why he probably expressed it. If that was his words, or his mama just won't be nasty and be an asshole and just try to dig at the man. I don't know.
Who else? Mr. He said, did you go?
Nah. The most operative thing and what stood out to me the most is, again, the reality changing. Just, it really didn't matter what he did before. She's gonna spin the narrative and paint the picture for it to be opportunistic for her. And those are the things that I hang my hat on. I could care less about the individual behaviors and instances that come up, but it's, the opportunistic mentality always having to be the one on top. And it just shows it's indicative in this. And just moving the goalposts, changing reality. It's just not fair to us as men. We want to be good fathers. We try to be the fathers that we didn't have. That's the most important thing. Like we didn't have the role models. We didn't have the examples. A lot of our fathers weren't there. So now we're trying to chuck all of that to the side and be great fathers to children without, any of the tools. And they're making it hard. You know what I mean? And it's a
Oh no.
uphill battle, and it's really hard and discouraging when even when you try to be an upstanding guy, you try to be a good dude, by the end of the sentence you could be the worst villain in the story. So that's what's unfair, and what sticks out to me the most is that she just wants to change the narrative to make it opportunistic for him to get a go-kart. It's not for books, it's not for, again, these are the most educated, these are the most celebrated, but the kids can't read. Like I don't buy it,
Or do
not
math.
one bit. You know what I mean? So, you may be getting your education, but you're not pouring it into the children because it's indicative in their behavior, in their scholastic abilities, in their demeanors, in their hopes and aspirations. There are no more mature souls. There is no old souls. It's a lot of things that the kids are missing, and it's because they're in the shitty mom gang. I can't, say it no different. They're shitty moms. They beat their chest like they're really good at it, and they're not. So, fellas, know that you're worthy, know that you have the quality. If you are the better parent, go and get your child. And if she's one of the mothers I speak about, it should be pretty easy. Sorry for being so long-winded.
No, you're good. All righty. Did everyone go on this? Because I do want to speak on it. Before I do, welcome to the show. Sean, how are you this evening?
Precious, how are you, fellas? What's going on? Salute to you all.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I wanted to speak on kind of the paragraph part that she wrote in the text messages. She says he didn't ask for that. She says that after the father says, I'm going to get him some games for his PS5. I just bought clothes, shoes, and $150 gift card. That's all now. Leave me alone, girl. That kind of alluded to what Hank said, like, I'll get him a gift card, some clothes and things like that. And so that's what he said that he was going to do. And she goes, he didn't ask for that. How come you can't do this one thing for him? You always disappoint him, then get mad when he called my man dad. So for one, kids can ask for things, but that don't mean they're going to get them. you know, like Mr. He said, you know, this spoil, entitled, who's doing all that? Who what rational, logical parent is giving a child every single thing that they want, right? Who's doing, unless you're irrational and you don't have any logic to you, and you just do what you want and say what you want and act how you want, you think that your child is supposed to do the same thing because this is what you're unconsciously passing down to your child, right? So then she goes, you always disappoint him, then get mad when he called my man dad. To bring her man into it is irrelevant, but to use the word, the extreme word, you always disappoint him, then get mad. That's that manipulative lingo, right? You're using an extreme word to describe a singular instance, because the man just said he got his kids some clothes, $150 gift card, some games for his PS5. I mean, honestly, who really, you know, sometimes I think moms want to stunt for their kids because you're asking for this child. You're asking for this. And even though, again, he may want it, it doesn't mean that he has to get it right when he want it. And you can't tell a man how to spend his money. She then goes on to say, this is your fault. A dad is supposed to provide for his kids. This is why men leave the mothers and not the children. Men leave their mothers, not the children. Because to say this is your fault, a dad is supposed to provide for his kids, when he listed all that he provided, and that was just monetary value. I'm sure a lot of that came in time as well. I know you got the money, you just don't care about your son, and that's why he don't like going over there. How you gonna tell the man that he don't care about his son? He helped you pay your rent and keep your lights on for his son. He probably did it with this like, but still did it. And this is how you talk to him about something for Christmas? I will let him know you said no, you effing bastard. That's how she's talking to him. That's how she's talking to him. I think women need to realize that, and what I don't think that they realize is, you know, I don't know how old this child is, but when you don't do it the right way and you're not married and you produce children and you're not under any type of covering, all hell gonna break loose before it gets better. Because your emotions are running wild. You're not running off of any standard. You're not running off of any type of order. You're doing it out of order. And so this is what you come across. And like Arpain said, I'm glad that he stayed the way that he stayed. Because there are some men that do get very emotional, and mom might not be here no more. And now he will be going to jail or worse because he couldn't handle his emotions because a woman wanted to bash him, wanted to use extremes to manipulate the situation, wanted to tell the child lies because you're not getting what you want. You're not getting the response that you want. Children are children. You tell them no, no means no. But for you to say, "Oh, I'm gonna tell him you said no, and I'm gonna," and that's why he don't like going over there. Who feelings are you trying to hurt? Then to bring your man into it, it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary.
There was something that Kevin Samuels coined, or at least I think he coined it, but it was the sign language: shame, insult, guilt, and need to be right. I always tell guys that when you understand what all that encompasses, if you're choosing to, and some people choose, some people kind of don't have a choice like this person does with his kid's mom. But if you're engaging with somebody that throws out that sign language, once you really understand what that person is trying to do, that type of language doesn't knock you off of your foundation. You're able to navigate it a lot more easier. It can still be frustrating when you have this person still henpecking you and just trying to get under your skin when you're doing the things that you're supposed to do in providing the way that you're supposed to provide, and then some, like this guy, at least through this text thread, was demonstrating. It's frustrating when someone tries to keep hitting you with that sign language to manipulate you to do something, even if you're not falling for it. The fact that they have the audacity to still try you is what frustrates guys.
My God, Brett said it right there. What happened to just being thankful for getting a gift? Remember back in the day for Christmas time, you used to be so excited to run downstairs and see them gifts. You ain't know what you was going to get. You may have gotten something you asked for. You may have not gotten something you asked for, but you were grateful. You were excited.
Well, you know what's interesting? I find myself getting so consumed and aggravated with the conversations because I start feeling like I'm bashing women. But the audacity of the spoiledness that is running rampant amongst several women and now is bleeding over into children, because that's why the boy is unhappy, because he's being spoiled by his mother. And it's a real shame that we have to counter it with
Shame.
oh my man. Yeah.
Well, let me. Oh, you go ahead. I don't know if you finished. Listen, one of the real damages is not what she's doing to the guy. I mean, I guess all of us here probably has a real life example of an alienated son from his father. I know I do. And the guy didn't have a chance. He didn't have a shot. If he didn't get full custody of his son, he didn't have a shot. But his mother hated him so much. The mother of his son hated him so much that she destroyed. He's a grown man now. The young guy, he still can't connect with his pops, even with all the information around him on why his mother did what she did. He still hasn't come to the age of realization that his relationship with his father's 100% based on the fact that she hated him. You know, and sometimes men have to have to learn that themselves. I mean, a friend of mine had the same kind of scenario, and the young man told his father after he was 21, he said, "Pops, I had to hate you." He said, because if I didn't, she made my life a living hell when I went home.
Wow.
We're gonna get into that.
Yeah.
Wow. And the shameful part about it is that there's no consequences in most cases for these actions. And it's beyond alienation. It's manipulation to have, like you said, have the child hate the father for no reason other than the mother hates the father.
Yeah. Alrighty, so we're gonna move on to the next topic because we're kind of gonna get back into that in a later clip. So we're gonna move on. King, do you have the is this the one that I had? That's the one that I had. Do you have yours? I don't know why mine keeps coming in like that.
Yep,
All
I've
right,
got
here we
this up, and yours keep coming sideways because you're on a sideways ass Apple.
You know what? You know what?
Shots fired. I said what I said.
Damn.
Apple's it.
Wow.
Apple is trash. That's a fact.
See how that lady done got up under all our skins? King's reacting.
It's
Any
up.
plans to resign? Excuse me. Let me tell you something. Get Dr. Newsom.
I know that clip. That's funny.
Alrighty, so King, take us away. I read up a little bit on this. Ryan and Michelle Shazier, you said Shazier?
Yep. So this is Ryan and his soon-to-be ex-wife, Michelle Shazier. He is a former Pittsburgh Steeler, played in the NFL for a couple of seasons back before the COVID year. I want to say it was 2019 or 2018. Chat, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but he got into a very, very nasty injury in which he was paralyzed for a bit and things looked extremely grim. Now, what I am unsure about as of this live stream is how long him and his wife had been together, but she stuck through him, through thick and thin, through his injury, through the recovery, and everything. And it was just announced that she done put their whole business out there and have claims of him cheating, along with showing receipts of text messages and photos of the lady that he was cheating on her with. So yeah, like she stuck through this dude in sickness and in health. And once he got back healthy, he said, "Hey, you know what? Now that my legs and other things is working, I'll be out here spreading seed amongst other people."
So I believe they were together, I think, for 4 years. I thought I read that. They had just celebrated an anniversary in May. Happy anniversary, my love. Number 4 with Infinity to Go. Love you, honey. So my question is, this man was paralyzed, right? He was paralyzed.
Yep, paralyzed, and it happened on primetime TV. It was a Monday Night Football game.
Yeah, I saw that.
December of 2017. So it was a couple of years prior to COVID.
So you paralyzed, she aids you, pretty much nurtures you back to health. What would be the reason that a man who was paralyzed couldn't walk, and when he got the ability to walk, cheated on his wife, sent books to another woman about different sexual positions? What would be the reason that he would do that? They have a child together. Why?
No salami, discipline, and horniness. That's the only reason.
Wow.
So
I
who wants to
don't
go?
think there's a good reason. But if I was to think of a reason, I would just kind of think of maybe how prisoners feel when they lose their freedom, and then when they get out, don't really know how to basically are like, yo, I'm doing whatever I could not do. So I don't, like I said, it's not a good reason whatsoever, but that's the only thing that I could think might have triggered him to do that. Unless he was just like that in general, and the injury didn't humble him whatsoever.
You see now you stole my thumb. He was cheating on her he never stopped cheating on her. That's the way he was wired.
Jesus Christ.
So I think he was always cheating on her. You know, so I don't think the injury had anything to do with it. You know, and besides whether he was injured or not, don't make it right. Don't make it, none of that. I mean, he's
Right.
wrong all the way around. But the fact that she did her wifely duties when he needed her the most, it exasperates the situation. But even if they didn't go through that, you know what I'm saying? He was wrong. I see, like, some guys, and I'll be real quick. Some guys shouldn't get married. If you're gonna cheat on the woman, why get married? Just go ahead and hang out, have that agreement with her. It just doesn't make any sense to me why some guys actually get married so they could continue to cheat. It's a utmost selfishness. I mean, I know why men cheat, but it's really selfish when you think about it, because you want to have your main bottom chick and you want to have your other stuff at the same time, where you could just go ahead and have a bunch of chicks and you don't have to hurt anybody in the process, but guys don't see it that way. So I mean, I had some more on that, but I told guys, listen, you never get the fact that you want women out of your system. You got to make a choice, and if you got to make a choice every day not to cheat, that's what you have to do.
Look at you, Payne, over there talking pimp stuff. Bottom.
I didn't use the B word though.
So you're right. Even without the injury, it's bad, right? But just to add the injury. It's like, as a
Insult to injury.
woman,
Insult to injury.
insult to injury, right? As a woman, it's like,
Damn.
there is no solace. There is no, unless, like you said, he's been cheating the entire time and she overlooked that. Because I think that women do need to take responsibility in what they choose to overlook too. It's not always, oh well, he was a cheater the whole time. Well,
I agree with that.
what were the signs? I mean, and why did you stay? There's a reason why you stayed, and we're gonna get into that in the last video too. But you have to take accountability for why you stayed. It just hurts even more to know that maybe you thought that, with this injury and you caring for him the way that you did, that he would
You could
change his
change.
mind or see you in a different light, and that just wasn't the case.
I mean, I wouldn't disagree with anything anybody's saying. The only thing I would sprinkle in is like our Pain was saying, just the selfishness, ultimately. And men, we weigh a scale, and again, that's my opinion. And for whatever reason, she didn't come out on the grand end of that scale on that day. I don't know, what she couldn't or could have done to have her come out on the lower end of that scale. But when he weighed it out, he went with, baby girl. But selfishness is ultimately what it is. And again, opportunistic. We as humans, we move a certain way. We move off opportunity. Some things become more alluring, when they're forbidden. And it just is what it is. It takes a certain person to move with discipline, and to be able to move with discipline in a room full of hoes is just a whole nother level. So it's all about the way we approach these things. And again, practice, in my opinion, is what makes perfect. And if you can't say no, then it's going to be a problem, because it's going to be hard to practice saying no if you can't. And I don't want to hear about the people who can't, who don't have the willpower. I want to speak to the young men that do, that understand that it is a price on the other end of that tunnel. So I wave my flag on opportunistic people and selfish people. They exist, man and woman, and that's why the cliche exists. It's all fair in love and war. It's all fair. I don't even understand. Well, I do understand selfishness. People think they're owed this gratitude, this loyalty, this closure. This You're not owed any of that. You're not owed that because you got done wrong this time. The next time is going to be better. What you can do is just like when you fell off your bike. You could get up, you could dust your knees back off, you could get back on and start riding again. It's no guarantee you're not going to fall. So, blame who you want, do what you want, but ultimately it's on you.
It's wild though. The PR that he's gonna catch from this is definitely not going to be pleasant. But being that he's a man of means and things like that, he's gonna be able to bounce back. The wild part is he was with him through the injury, okay? And the big PR thing that was good back when he was getting married was that he was gonna be able to walk down the aisle for his wedding, and that's what she stuck through for.
Damn.
And now this fool, the way that he was caught cheating, he had WhatsApp, and WhatsApp is not only linked to your phone. If you have it on your computer, it is also linked to your computer if you're signed into both. And his soon-to-be ex-wife found out about his cheating because she had his WhatsApp pulled up from his computer, and the dummy didn't know that both of them was linked together. So for those of y'all watching out there that might have WhatsApp, if you're trying to do dirt, don't have it linked to both systems.
This is a good follow-up to that first one, because good for her. I'm
He's
so
like,
glad that she
goodness.
caught him. And whatever happens to him, I hope it's a lot more humbling than that injury was not.
But see, who said it that when you're, when it's forbidden or when you don't have it, he was injured and paralyzed, And so if that's what he was doing, if cheating was what he was doing and he was cut off from cheating because he was paralyzed, then he go back to cheating, you're only going to get paralyzed in a different way. You know what I mean? Like, you're only going to get paralyzed in a different way because you're doing wrong from the start. The injury probably was to sit your ass down somewhere. Okay? The injury probably was to say, you need to keep your penis in your own house. Okay? But then we want to take it so far, like, oh, I can walk again. He probably skipping down the sidewalk now with them new legs. And now look, he done got
Jesus
caught
Christ.
cheating.
That's wild.
Caught cheating. So now she probably about to paralyze your finances because you have a child with her. So you reap what you
That's
sow.
wild.
You reap what you sow.
Precious
what
owed it today.
What
Precious
did you
owed
think
it
was going to
today.
happen?
Yeah, pressure on one. Sis, you on one today. Damn.
So I mean, yeah, she's gonna hurt. Yeah, it's gonna hurt. But I mean, I'm sure she's a nice looking woman. I'm sure that she'll find somebody else to be with. You know, remoralization. I need to see that you are real. So if you don't mind showing your face before you take the stage, I would appreciate that. But yeah, she'll find somebody else, but you know, you reap what you sow. And if and it does seem like she was or he was, you know, this is probably his character and probably what he was doing. And so, you know, it just caught up to him. Literally. You know, it just caught up to him.
Well,
Yeah,
I
and
hope her pain hits his pockets.
yep. We don't know how she was behind closed doors, but on the social media streets anyway, and very publicly, she seemed like a very supportive, very loyal person to him. And I mean, again, she gets all the sympathy points for the story that came through, you know, being there through him getting paralyzed, you know, marrying him while he's, you know, barely able to dance and things like that. And look what that got her, you know. I think she's gonna be able to bounce back. And if she wants to be married again, find herself a husband.
But Hank, you didn't say anything though on this whole thing. I'm not reading this. I was going to say something, but I want you to go first.
I appreciate that, Brother Payne. Thank you for that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't know the whole story. I guess it just what you said it was released today, came out today, where he did what he supposedly did, or something the case may be.
Yeah, she found the text messages.
Again, it's a bad situation for him to do something like that. It's kind of bad, especially when, like you said, she was there for you through this whole period of you losing your ability to walk, and through your lowest moment especially in your career. But at the same time, you never know what was going on for him to even, I guess, to maybe even attempt to cheat or think about cheating or even cheating. I mean, really, there's no excuses. At the end of the day, there's really no excuses. But look, you never know. You know, I had a conversation earlier on the show. He's talking about sexless marriages. Yeah, you know, some men could probably take that and be okay with it and still press forward, but some of these young cats nowadays, they not gonna go without intimacy from a woman for long and be okay with it. They're gonna have a wandering eye. And so, was that the reason? You know, was that the reason why he decided to step out and do what he did? I don't know. I mean, but at the end of the day, it's really no excuse. You know,
I think that's why. I think that is a good reason to step out.
Yeah, because my thing is,
I
if you're in a,
think a woman withholding her obligation to you is an open door for you to go and get it from somewhere else. You know, and
You
that's the part of the conversation that you should have had, especially if you're young. Especially if you're young.
Well, let me say this.
It depends on
If a
who you ask.
woman,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It depends on who. Hold on, fellas. Hold on.
go ahead,
I
go
thought I
ahead.
was
Go ahead.
okay. I think it really depends on who you ask in that situation. You know, if you a good, wholesome, Bible toting, salt of the earth type man, you're not supposed to be doing that. You know, you're supposed to find some way to power through and continue to press on. You know, the new modern man, well, maybe, you know, that's a good reason to seek solace somewhere else. It depends on who you ask.
There's no real argument. What I'm saying is if you're both good Bible thumping people, then she should realize part of her obligation is to keep you satisfied too. You know, so she's breaking an oath to you. And not that you make two wrongs make a right. I'm just saying you don't even have to be under the spell. I would have a conversation with my wife. Listen, you don't want to have sex no more? Let me go out and step out for, time until I come back, because you can't spend the rest of your life all bottled up. Now, the flip side is when you're 60 or 70 and then your Johnson don't work no more, you're 50 something, are you going to let your wife do the same thing? So I mean, so this is a conversation to go around. So
I think that's different though. A medical reason
still
and
asking
just
her to give up something.
Well, I still think it's a little different because if it's a medical thing, if it's a medical thing that can be talked about, you can do different things. You can just
you're right.
Change the variation of what's going on. But when a woman just shuts it down altogether, you're literally rejecting him. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? When a man's body is going through whatever it's gone through, you gotta, roll with the punches and do what you can with that. But when you are rejecting something that you vowed to give to them, then you're cheating them out of what you said you would give to them, right? So then you said, well, two wrongs don't make it right for a man to cheat on his wife. But I also agree with what you said, Arpine, is like, okay, now we have to have the conversation because with women, we will run with whatever story we have in our mind. But if you give us the words and you give us the actual, I'm not doing this, or I'm going to be doing this, or you lay down the law. I forget where I was saying it. Another live I was on, but women don't like to be rejected from their man. It makes a woman feel a certain type of way, even though she's doing the rejecting, like, oh, I'm not going to give you any sex. If a man says, oh, well, I'm gonna go get it from somewhere else, or I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, they're not gonna take it well, and that's why men probably don't even say anything because they might go psychotic. But that's where you have to literally lay the law of the land down. Because then it's like that's where you set your conditions. Like, all right, well, you don't want to do it. This is what's going to happen. You want to act crazy, you're going to have to get out. You have to set certain type of conditions because women will do things and think that they can get it. If a woman can stay in a sexless marriage forever, she would. She would. I don't understand why like sex becomes a task once you get into a marriage, but you was throwing it back every Saturday when y'all was dating. Like, I don't understand how that dynamic change. I don't understand how that dynamic changes. But if it does change, the conditions need to change, and I think that men need to do their due diligence and not just cheating, but telling her this is what I am going to do. Because if you tell her that that's what you're going to do, not to say that it's not cheating, but at least she now knows these are the consequences for you withholding and for you cheating me out of what you vowed to me. So don't just go off and do it, but you have to lay the law of the land down and say, hey, look, we gonna have some new conditions here. Because you change the conditions like a contract. You change the conditions of this contract. Now we have a new contract.
Yep. Gotta let the women tell it. Yeah, let the ladies tell it. I agree with you. I agree with you.
So, good evening, Grooming and Reviews. You have a new dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On there.
Look at really part of the ball-headed crew.
Welcome to
Welcome.
the Ballhead Beer
Welcome.
Game.
Yeah,
Welcome.
I donated over the weekend. On Saturday, I donated 16 inches to Locks for Love, actually.
Oh, that was a good cause. Good
Nice.
for you.
16 inches of
Wow.
hair. Hey, listen, he got paid for
Boy.
his. Mine just fell out for free.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah, you know.
That's
Patty
been you,
said
buddy.
it's not cheating if you don't get caught. But that's the thing. You shouldn't have to get caught. As a man, you are a man. A man should be able to do what he wants to do in his world, right? And if you have a woman that's agreeing to do what you want to do in your world, then when she breaks the contract of what's going on in your world, there needs to be new terms and conditions. So if she don't want to adhere to those terms and conditions, then this is what it's going to be. You don't have to get caught.
Bang,
I don't think that you have to get caught.
Doesn't it consider that open relationship, that means, or open marriage?
Well, it's an open marriage when you deny me the virtue that I'm supposed to have to be connected to you.
Yeah, you opening up that
That's
doorway.
how
Is that
you
what you're
make it
saying, Precious?
open. That's how you make if a woman want to make her marriage an open marriage, don't give her no sex. That's how you make your marriage an open marriage. That's the first way you make your marriage an open marriage. Because who we gonna have sex with? The dog? What? That's how you make your marriage an open marriage. If you have medical issues, if there's an issue, if there's a problem, then you need to be able to be an adult and express yourself. Maybe if you guys need extra help, whatever the case may be, but you can't just shut down. You're literally cheating him out of what you vowed to him. What if he just stopped paying the bills? You gonna go to a man who gonna pay your bills, or you gonna get you a little OnlyFans page. You gonna do something to supplement as a woman. A woman is gonna do that. So what makes you think that this man who can produce babies beyond babies a day is going to not get fulfilled? And what type of delusion do you have to live in to understand that?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I don't understand.
I got a question. I got a question. How did we get to her not giving sex? Because there's a comment that I was gonna make, and this is it. If as an adult a woman is going to wipe my ass, I'm gonna figure out a way to make it last.
Damn. You did that. Was that intentional?
That's going a little
Yeah,
extreme, Sean,
because
in my opinion.
because no, what I'm saying is, if he was crippled, she probably had to assume the duties to wipe his ass.
See, here's the difference between me and you, Sean. I will go in.
No,
I will
actually, he
literally
did.
walk in the room, and just go. This is Sparta kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
I think he had
What?
professional help for that part.
I was getting ready to say, with the money that they have, I'm pretty sure there were like home aids and things like that.
I'm hoping so, but just the way I'm looking at it is, if she's stuck in there when he was in the home attendant ain't always there, and there will be a time where there's caretaking necessary,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I'm referring to. And I'm sure that, like she would do for their children, she would do for him, according to what they're depicting. And in my case, if a woman is gonna sacrifice that for me, I'm gonna figure it out. I ain't doing what
Just
money.
a visual, a big NFL size shit coming out of there. Oh my god!
I didn't go that far. I couldn't. but seriously, if she's gonna take that time as they're just depicting, I want to just put that as a disclaimer. Like King said, I don't know the story. It's very fresh to all of us. But if it's depicted that she was supportive during his illness and his ailment, That man needs a shit smacked out of him, quite frankly.
Well, I'm sure she'll do that when they go to court. I mean, that's that. Because I mean, they have a child together. She's gonna have to continue to see this man.
A young child together.
Yeah, a young child together. And that's just what I believe she's gonna do. You know, what else other than what stay with him after he publicly humiliated her? And actually he didn't even publicly do it. I mean, he just got caught.
Yep. It got caught and she made it public. That's a woman that's scorned. That's a woman that's hurt. And I think she gonna make him feel it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next video. So the next two videos are in relation to men and the expression of their actual emotions. And in the first video, it's almost he comes to like this realization. And in the second video, we're talking about a father and a son, a man who steps in to pretend like he's the father, and he allows this man to or young man to express himself. So the first video kind of goes into a discovery of how men express their emotions.
There where I stopped, and she goes, there's like this brief pause, and I go, why you mean mugging me?
Yeah.
And she goes, because you keep stopping, and I'm wondering if it's because you don't want to show true emotion or not. I go, I got no problem showing emotions.
Oh, so I love when you lie to your therapist. Go ahead.
I'm doing it right now.
That's not showing emotion. Speaking isn't showing emotion.
I guess I'm. Wait a minute. Hold on now.
I'm dude, I'm
Let me-
firmly planted on hold here. What's up?
Let me process this for a minute.
What's up, babe?
But if I am speaking about something sad and I get sad, that's me showing emotion, right?
If you're feeling sad?
Yeah.
Well, feeling something and showing something aren't the same, right?
Well, how are you supposed to show emotion?
Oh, you cry. Oh, you get up and you break something. You show anger. You show sadness.
You fully have to cry?
You emote. Showing emotion is outward. I don't think you have a problem feeling emotions,
Yeah.
but you definitely don't want nobody to know what you're feeling.
Oh, okay.
Right? And we know that.
God damn it.
And we know that.
We do know that.
We know that.
Fuck.
Jesus Christ.
So he says you have no problem feeling emotions, but you don't want anyone to know what you're feeling, because then you will be expressing that. And the guy thought that talking about feelings was the way to, you know, express his emotions. And he realized that, wow, I guess I was doing that all wrong. But my question to you guys is, what are the misconceptions women have about men and how they actually express their emotions? Because I think a lot of women want you guys to express your emotions the way that we do, and that's not necessarily how you do it. So what are some of the misconceptions that women have about how you guys express your emotions?
That anger and frustration is not an expression of emotions, and it directly is. And often it's similar to how someone else might cry or shut down, and not understanding that if in fact that's being expressed, don't dismiss it, kind of dive into it and ask about it and try and help redirect it.
But most times, how is anger and frustration being expressed?
I mean, there's a variety of ways, yelling, hitting things, shutting down at times. There's a lot of different ways depending on who's expressing it. But it's not that that's the only emotion men have. I'm just saying, you said what is a misconception that women have. is that he's emotionless when in fact he's very emotional. It's like, people say, oh, men ain't emotional, but they ready to kill over somebody stepping on their sneaker. That's a very emotional man.
Mhm.
But the misconception is that, oh, he's cold hearted, he don't got no emotion. Nah, he's very emotional. That's why he's acting out that way.
Okay, Mr. He said.
Oh, that's a great question. What misconceptions do women have? The same misconceptions America has. That we are coloring with 4 crayons in a 64 crayon box. They think we have mad, pick up your gun, about to get mad, and let's fight. It's not true. And how it looks is quiet. Quiet until you say, what you thinking about? And here we go with the back and forth. And that's it. Sometimes we're processing things. For me, I'm a complete cancer. I go in my shell, I process to figure out how I'm gonna maneuver. And it has nothing to do with you. But again, the selfishness that is, who we talking about right now, modern women, everything's about them. This is why, everything we've been talking about, they would consider dragging. This is why when, the brother came up, Sean, he said, I hate to start talking because they're going to say that's exactly what we're talking about. They use shame all the time against everybody else. But the minute you say something about them, oh, you dragging. Oh, you talking about black women. Oh, why you worrying about women? Because I'm a man and I can worry about everything. I have dominion over everything. So how dare you tell me what I could talk about? Why y'all up here talking about women? Because we can. Kindly exit or have a seat and be quiet. And again, this is the je ne sais quoi that a lot of men don't have. They could front like they have it, but I see they don't have it. I'm from New York City, Bedford-Stuyvesant. I'm not shy to tell y'all where I'm from, tell y'all where I came out of. It was horrible. It's not like it is now. And I am not shy to tell these young ladies exactly what I see. Shame on them, shitty mom gang, and all of the rest of the shit that I say. And I just had green flags. But again, nobody listens to the old man because I'm old and I read Donald Goines. And this is what they make fun of. Again, more shame, more sign language. But it works against everybody else except them. But, with me, that's where it stops. And, the conversation is completely insensitive because we as men don't look at as being emotional, intelligent, or emotionally intelligent. And what women do is they entertain lesser vibrational men, lesser intellectual men, and then guess what they say? This is what's supposed to be the leaders, y'all. This is what we supposed to be following. But no, all men are not them. But they don't frequent the men that can articulate, that can give them intelligent conversation and information. They rather frequent the spaces that go back and forth with cantankerousness. So, they'll continue to do so and continue to get the results that they get. Sorry for being so long-winded.
No, you're absolutely right. There's a conviction that comes with talking to men who have their head on straight. There's a conviction to talking to men who just want to see you do the right thing, right? They just want to see you do the right thing because some of these men have sons and these little boys are going to be dating, And so I definitely understand it. Arpain, did you go on this one?
No, not on this one. I think you answered the question. A lot of women want us to act like them. But the problem is, I think women in general, spend so much time thinking about what they want. Very seldom do they actually think about what men actually want. Because a lot of stuff that we do say, we've been saying for a long time. And it's been getting louder and louder and louder. And I just think that women have a blind spot to hearing what men have to say, especially when we're right. So the emotion thing, I don't know how many times men have to tell women, girlfriends, wives, I'm going to show you certain emotions that I think that fit the situation. But if you want me to walk around telling you how my day was at work or how I feel about this and that, it's just not going to happen. You want to see me cry, it's got to be some kind of event that I feel comfortable crying about, not over whining about this and that. Like, I worked for 38 years. I can't remember one time I ever came home and told my wife about my day at work or the boss or anybody. Not once.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to travel somewhere, if I had to do something, hey, listen, I'm not going to discuss that part of this with you. Or if we had a situation in the house or anywhere, I said, if I'm handling it, I'm handling it. I don't need to discuss it with you unless I need your input.
Right.
But women like us to, do stuff that, I'm not even a tough guy, but it never crosses my mind to sit down there with my wife and, oh, woe is me, anything. I don't even understand men who do that shit. So, a lot of times when women speak, they want us to express ourselves if they would express it to each other. And I think they don't know what the hell they're asking for.
Mm-hmm.
Because if men started doing that, then you think you upset now, goddammit. If we start doing that in mass, you're going to really feel crazy. If all the men, God damn, you get these men, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't even know what they're asking for. If we actually started acting completely the way women want us to act, I mean, we might as well send an asteroid. That's it.
That's it.
Let me jump in because I have to tell a story that speaks to this, and this is going to be a small roller coaster, and I'm gonna try to say it as succinctly as I can. This past Friday, I was looking to surprise my lady by taking her to this thing. She didn't know what it was for, but it was like this lights festival. And fast forward to the end, it was a phenomenal evening, but the evening almost started out in the worst way possible. I live in a safe neighborhood. That does not mean that unsafe riffraffs don't walk up and down the sidewalks. Well, as I'm ready to make a left-hand turn, I'm waiting for the traffic on my left to pass so that I can make that left-hand turn. I see this guy walking. He's dressed just kind of weird for the neighborhood. It looks like I thought he was rapping, but then as I look further, he's talking to himself. Now my antennas are starting to stand up. Okay. As he then looks like he's looking directly at my car. Michelle was in her phone, which is what I told her to, because I didn't want her to spoil the surprise. So I told her to put on headphones and not look at where we're going so that it could be a surprise to her. But as this guy's walking, he looked like he's about to walk up to my door. All right. And there's a car trying to turn on the road where he's now blocking. And I'm like, I know this ninja is not going to sit here and do something to the car. So I'm watching him. Eventually, the other car kind of forces him out the way. I'm still waiting on traffic so I can turn left, but I'm keeping this guy in my mirror to see what he's doing. He starts to walk away, but then he turns back around, and it was like he was saying, "You have something to say?" And I watched him pull the jammy out, and I beeline turned to the right and just hauled ass away. Right. And I was wishing that I had caught a lot of this on my dash cam. I didn't want to tell Michelle, who was sitting to the right of me, because I didn't want the evening to be spoiled. Now, why am I saying all of this? I had to make split-second decisions that could have had a significant impact to my life, her life, or somebody else's right then and there. Was I scared? Yes. It's not the first time that I've had a gun poured on me for somebody trying to, run
up on you.
And I'm not going to sit here and say that I wasn't scared. I was scared. So I had to process that. I had to do the safest thing that was right then and there, but I didn't emote me being scared, right? But I was I was scared. You know what I'm saying? And then after we got down the road, I debated about telling her what had just happened. I chose not to in that moment, because I wanted her and I wanted the evening to still go well. And we had a phenomenal evening. Now, I did share with her afterwards, And I was like, how do you feel about me keeping that from you? And I'm telling y'all, man, if you find a lady that says this, you got a good one. She said, I deferred to your judgment for what you thought was best.
Mm,
And that was
hmm.
it. And that was it. But I was scared shitless. I didn't emote it. Doesn't mean I wasn't scared. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? I just chose not to emote it. So I think that the first dude's kind of right in that. You don't really have to emote what you're feeling to show emotions. I think you can communicate it verbally. And that's still as effective, or it should be effective.
Now, let me just say, their conversations got a little cringeworthy for me. You know, that's just me. Let's say, where do you guys go with this conversation?
It was because they was using those softer tones when they were speaking, and I was like, I don't even know if I should show this, but I do think that I do think that it's important because some men do believe that just talking about their emotions is the way that they're showing them. I think in the instance with King, you were in a situation where you had to use your better judgment. And that's what a leader does, right? A leader is going to say, all right, I had this surprise. She's blindfolded. I don't want to startle her. I don't want her anxiety to be on 100 the whole night, trying to look over her shoulder because I'm already doing that. Right. So you were scared, but at the same time, as the person taking care of everything, you still kind of got to look over your shoulder too, because that's just your job as a protector. That's your job to be looking over your shoulder. And now you're in a situation where you got crazy people walking around, and you're like, well, damn, I'm trying to have a good weekend, and somebody got the Jimmy. It's you, so you showing that fear at that time and at that moment would have been against it would have been against your better judgment, and I think you made the right decision. And I think that women underestimate those decisions that men have to make, and a lot of women want to know everything. They got to know everything, and honestly, as a woman, I don't want to know everything. I don't want my mind going in corners and pockets that I cannot get out of. I don't want to be cornered by thoughts that you should be thinking about. That's what you got the man there for. That's what y'all there for, okay? There's no reason why women should have to worry or fear when they're around a man. It's no reason. It's no reason whatsoever. So you definitely did the right job in that situation, King. Because Lord knows I would have been like, all right now. You got are you licensed? You got that thing on you? You got that thing? Like, you're just thinking about so many things. And as a woman, we just don't want to do it. We don't want to do it. Women act like and they want to portray like they want to know everything. They want to get on your nerves and they want to nag you and but hold your ground, stand your ground.
Yep, and just
Stand
as
your
a quick
ground.
follow-up, like I said, I do stay in a good neighborhood, and almost everybody got those Ring cameras. I did go down and ask somebody that I didn't know him, but we've kind of talked if he had his Ring camera. I went back and saw it. You can see him do this, but you can't quite make it out because it was dark exactly,
Mm,
what I'm saying,
mm.
what it was. Or I asked if he had seen his face before. He said no. I think it was just a random blonde hair, blue eyed dude that was probably on drugs or something walking down the sidewalk. Almost
King, are
turned.
you sure it was
Yeah.
a piece or it was in your imagination?
Nah, bro. Nah, man. I go and shoot often. Yeah, he
You couldn't
pulled.
see it on the Ring camera, but he could see it with his own two eyes.
Mhm. He pulled.
Good evening. This might be risky. Thank you for joining the panel. How are you?
What's going on? How you?
I'm good. I'm good. We're having a good conversation here. Good build.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Shout out to the brothers. Shout out to Precious.
Risky was popping.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's poppin'?
What's up, though,
Right
brother?
on here.
What's going on?
Did you want to add anything before we move on?
No, I just I appreciate King's story. I need to make sure I start
adopting some of these practices. You know what I mean? There was one dude. So my neighborhood was all black in DC, and so this white dude was walking down the street. But I'm like, "What you doing over here? You know, no white people live over here. You know what I'm saying? You ain't about to kidnap no kids or do, you know, what they known for too. See, I check a lot of stuff, but I need to have more wherewithal. You know what I mean? Because usually I don't think about a lot of my actions when my kids are around. You know, I just got to respond. But if you take a second, you know, I think you can make better decisions. You know, so when I seen the white dude, automatically I'm like, ho ho ho. You know what I mean? Because it was odd to me. You know, but needless to say, nothing happened. I think he was on something, which is to King's point. You know, but you never know what could happen in those situations. So shout out to King.
Yeah. I don't know why women be be talking the way they do. We need y'all. we need y'all because y'all heads be on a swivel and we just be in la la land, you know, some of us.
Precious question. What do women be talking like that in like women groups too?
I'm sorry?
So women be talking like that in like all female groups too? Like, yo, I got the slammer if somebody come around. Like, y'all be talking like that to each other too?
That's a good question.
I only associate with 2 women.
Okay.
And no, we don't be talking like that.
I hope they're not Eagles fans.
What you have said, man? What you have said? So yeah, no, we don't talk like that. So I don't know. I don't know. I just we got a yes in the chat. We got a yes in the chat. But I just think that, you know, just like everyone else sees and can hear that, you know, a lot of men are just undervalued, and these stories prove that women wouldn't react the same in these situations. Like they just wouldn't react the same. It proves that, you know, being a leader takes being able to make hard decisions even in the presence of danger and fear and weapons and, you know, just this crazy world. So you know, it's just amazing how we just see a lot of the opposite of the I don't need a man, I could do what I want, I can say what I want. All right, so we're gonna get into
just
go ahead.
the selfishness that I was talking about earlier, just on the other side, like King was just, you know, alluding to. He was thinking about not only keeping the moment safe and keeping her, you know, information free so that it doesn't rattle her. He was also thinking about having a good night for the rest of the night. Like a lot of selflessness was inside of that thinking and compartmentalizing, you know, some things they don't give us credit for, but you know, kudos to you, brother, for, you know, absolutely doing all of those things and having a great night at that. Sorry if I cut you off, Hank. My bad, brother.
No, you good. But to answer I guess the original question about what some things that women do that
the misconceptions.
Yeah, okay. One of the things is expect a man to talk right then and there in the heat of a moment where it might not be the right time. So what I tell my lady, I said, look, I'm the type, well, if I don't feel like talking, I'm gonna let you know it's just not the time. Don't come harassing me. Don't come hounding me. I'll talk when I'm ready to talk, not when you want me to talk. So now what you're going to end up doing is causing me to dig my feet even harder in the dirt, and I'm not going to move. So now I'm intentionally going to now not say nothing on purpose just to try to prove a point to you because you pissed me off, because you harassed me now, because I told you right then and there I'm not ready to talk. When I'm ready to talk, I'll let you know. And I'll give you the same respect. It might just not be your moment. You might not be in the mood to talk. So give me my space. Respect my space. But don't try to force me to have a conversation I'm not ready to have right now. Because I may say some shit that I may have to apologize later to, that I don't want to feel like apologizing, when I can think about it, gather myself, and have the conversation when I'm ready. So give me my moment, and then we'll talk about it later. But a lot of ladies, they want to, no, I want to talk about it now. No, heifer, I'm not ready to talk. Stand down and give me my moment. You know, I shouldn't have to leave the premises. I shouldn't have to walk in another room. I should just better sit there in peace, and you better sit in peace, and you look and leave the goddamn room and do what you need to do while I get my shit together. And when I'm talking, I'm ready to talk.
Mm-hmm.
I had situations where now they want to talk anyway. All right, man. Okay, I'm gonna talk to you. You might not like the words that come out of my mouth, because I could be, I could cut. I could be sarcastic. I'm not gonna lie. I can admit that. I'm working on that, and the Lord's working on it with me. But y'all pray for your boy.
Hey, Precious, can I say?
Go ahead.
Can I say one? Yo, King. Yo, what Mr. He said was just resonating with me also. I never involve my wife in stuff because she ain't gonna be no help. That's the only reason I don't say nothing. Like you thought of the whole. I'm just thinking she gonna get in the way if something popping off. I'm not even being that thoughtful. So I just wanted to acknowledge that because you thought about all that. I'm just thinking this is a liability. You feel me? Like that. So shout out to you,
all
man.
the way in the way.
Yeah, tripping over and all that. Yeah.
Mr. C says many women don't have the patience to allow men any kind of grace, and that's exactly what you have to have is patience, because you have two different individuals, one who shows emotions all the time and then one who is strategic in how they show their emotions. And women just need something to do, honestly. Because a lot of times men are processing things that 9 times out of 10, maybe 8, maybe 7, it don't have anything to do with you. It don't have anything to do with the woman. And the times that it does, a woman doesn't need to be worrying about what's on his mind. You need to be worrying about what you can do to help the situation. And if that means to leave him alone, maybe just leave him alone. Leave him alone. Find ways to make the situation better in the capacity that you can make it better without bothering him and nagging him about speaking, and let him speak when he's ready. I don't think men are never forced to do anything. I don't think that men should ever be forced to do anything. I always say it's y'all world. We just honestly living in it, because without y'all, what we gonna do? What we gonna do? So I'm gonna get to this next video. Again, this is a man. So this relates to the importance of men who don't have their fathers and how they actually express their emotions, because there's a lot of men that didn't have their fathers growing up and was never able to express that emotion. So like last week we were talking about men being, having sex with multiple or a lot of women because they didn't have their mom, or they didn't, or I don't know. I'll be on all these panels. Maybe it wasn't last week on my show. Maybe it was on Lapeef Network. But I was talking about how men, they don't have their moms, or they don't have their dads. They don't have people that are supposed to give them this nurture and care in their beginning stages. And then we wonder why we have absentee fathers. We wonder why we have men that are walking away from their responsibilities. And it's because they're not able to express the things that are actually deeply, saddening them. They're having to suppress those things. So this video actually speaks to that.
Dad do, son? You gonna tell me?
All of that, I'll take care of my own flesh and blood.
So I wasn't taking care of you?
No, you wasn't.
You gonna tell me I'm your daddy? How you gonna tell me I wasn't taking care of you?
You ain't buy me nothing. You wasn't there for me.
How you mean I wasn't there?
You wasn't there for me. You wasn't talking to me when I was down at my lowest.
I brought you in the world. I mean, what you want? What else you want?
Not good enough.
Well, what else I supposed to do?
Take care of me.
How?
Love me.
Love you?
Talk to me.
Talk to you about what? What you want to talk about?
Teach me how to grow up and be a man.
I'm a man. Think this is what a man is?
A man talk to his kids. Seeing kids go out with their parents, and I couldn't do nothing like that.
What hurt now?
My heart.
Son, what if nobody ever did that with me? What if nobody showed me how to do it? What if I was scared?
But you ain't tell me none of that. You just left me. So now I'm a reflection of you, and I don't want to be that.
What you want to be then, son? Talk to me.
I want to be bigger than you, better than you, more than you.
Emotions you showing is what you've been holding in. You got to forgive him, forgive yourself, and move forward. You got more in you than all the other stuff you wear. The world needs your authentic self, not the image of everything else. Stay with us in here, King, because I know you got something in you, all of you. I promise you, the tears you have, the emotions you have, it's going to work out. Y'all give my man a big hand for standing up. Give me love.
All right. So, I know some guys on the panel does mentoring to young children. I know Hank does, Mr. He said definitely does. I'm not actual King Smith. Okay. Sean, I know you do, your mentoring and things here and there. But I don't know if the young men of today really have like those big brothers or that barbershop talk or just a mentor, a man coach if they didn't have their fathers. But I wanted to hear from you guys, and then the chat can also chime in. What are the effects of not being able to express these emotions that you have having an absentee father? What are the effects of that? Because I think we're currently living in some of the effects of that, but I wanted to hear from you guys and whatever enlightenment that you can share with those who watch, because I think my channel, I think I get from like 25 on up that watch my channel in the logistics. So, what are the effects of not being able to express these emotions of having the situation of an absentee father?
Well, I know with me, I normally tell them I share my story first before I even allow them to share. So to I guess the wall, knock the wall down, allow them to feel comfortable about sharing, because I was able to step out there and do it myself. And so when I do that, it definitely helps them young men to be more open. Well, I mean, now, as far as that situation, I thought that was a good back and forth scenario that he did right there. To act like a situation where if I was your father, what would you say? And I used that exercise before. It really worked. Now, one thing I would do, that young man couldn't come into my area with his pants, and I seen his drawers. I always tell them young boys, if you don't have a belt, I got some rope, and I will cut a piece of rope and I'd make them tied up. We're not coming in with this sagging and say, unless you getting your ass ready for the prison mentality, we're not doing this shit. So that's the first thing. Dress and act and move according like a young, well-respected man should move. First things first. But again, I will give that demonstration A+. I love it. I think that's a great, because I've used that before, and it really helped out a lot. You have young men get to the point of being emotional, and now he talking real reckless to me like I was really his father. I'm like, God damn. Sometimes that shit gets too real, you know what I'm saying, because of the situation. But I know it's necessary, because some of these young men need to get that shit up off their chest. You don't know what. Look, I'm gonna be vulnerable right now. I know what they're going through. I remember going through my time without my father. When I first lost my father, I can see lost like he's not passed, but he's still with us. I was 10 years old when my mom and dad got a divorce. And I remember feeling like, was it something I did? Was it because at one time I caught my house on fire because I was playing with a goddamn lighter up under the bed, striking and getting enamored by the flames. And I was under the bed and caught the bed on fire. And probably about 2 years later, my mom and dad divorced. And I felt like I was at fault. And I asked him, are you leaving because I caught the house on fire? He said, no, that's not the reason. Me and your mama can't get along. And that's what he shared with me. But I felt like that moment I lost my father, because then I didn't really see him that much. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't like financially, he was there. Emotionally, he wasn't. And so for a long time, I held ill feelings towards him, to the point, like I said, I remember my junior, senior year of high school, getting awards, being honored, and my dad's not there, to the point where another man on senior day had to walk me to the middle of the field, but it wasn't my father. And I'm watching all these other fathers doing their thing. I'm jealous. I'm envious. I get mad and bitter at my teammates and feeling some type of way because they got the father and I don't. That's how upset it was. But, I share that story with these young men, and they can relate. You know what I'm saying? They could really relate, and they felt what I was feeling, because now I'm hearing the same type of story with them. So in those type of situations, it's tough. You know what I'm saying? But anybody who went through it definitely can relate. And to some of these kids who don't, man, that's a really good way to knock down the walls for them kids to share with you. And they usually do it. Now it might take a couple weeks or so or some time because they want to feel comfortable. Like, is it okay for me to share? Is anybody going to judge me? You know, so you got to be sensitive to those type of things too as well. So
Thank you, Hank, for sharing.
Well said, bro.
So
Well
you
said.
said, go ahead.
Yeah, I would add on to that. What it looks like, Presh, is like Hank said, anger. And all things that come along with it, the rebellion against authority, the pre-offended, chip on your shoulder, and just that anger. A lot of what ifs, you wonder what could have happened, what should have happened, what would have happened. And I'm kind of like those boys in the clip. I never had my dad. Lost my mom when I was very young. So that part of that unconditional love, those people that's there, I had to come to that realization early, and it made me angry. It made me want to question, why this got to happen to a 9-year-old boy to not have any figures. So it forced me to understand that this world is something that we navigate through, and we have a family we're born into, and we have a family that we can create. And that was my opportunity to again start to pour myself into basketball to take that pain away. And it just gave me that structure that I needed and made everything fall into place as far as being a good teammate and being a leader and so on and so forth. But it was really making me angry. And again, I see why the modern day looks the way it does, because a lot of fathers are not there. A lot of people are angry, a lot of people are pre-offended, a lot of people are cantankerous, because there is no men in our community that can tell anybody anything. It's Denzel Washington and Samuel Jackson. That's it. It's unbelievable, the shit that we say about our community, the shit that is being played out in our community, when we have the ancestors that walked the path that got us to where we are now. And for us to move the way we move, to be having black women talking about getting guns to shoot black men, and black men putting hands on black women, tell Sojourner Truth that that's the conversation was going to be going on. Tell Nat Turner, tell Stokely Carmichael that this what we talking about. They would be flabbergasted. And again, this is why I wave the flag that I wave. It's so insensitive that we paint each other with these broad brushes, and come to blows when this world ain't meant to walk through alone. And not having a dad, trying to be a dad, not having a healthy relationship in your house or in your neighborhood or on your block, and trying to cultivate one. Again, it's really hard when you make it an uphill battle, when the chips are stacked in your favor, and that all you got to do is say the word and certain things just go into motion and go into place, and you got all the provisions, and again, don't even want to recognize it. The only reason we sitting here is because we told them to be nice 2.5 years ago. We told them to wear their hair 2.5 years ago. And we're here still. So, when we coming from this climate of nobody wanting to acquiesce, nobody wanting to hear what the other side is saying, we're just going to continue to sit here. But the proof is in the pudding. The men been saying what they've been saying since they've been saying it. And I don't care if you like it or not. It's not going to stop until somebody understands that, we both got to sit down, be heard, and move forward. Sorry for being so long-winded, y'all.
And Presh, can I add one more thing to it? As far as that situation with me, I think it allowed me and forced me to be a better father, because it made me say, I want to be not what my father was. I don't want my son or my daughter to ever feel what I felt. Mm-hmm. So that definitely encouraged me and my brother to be the best version of fathers we could be to our kids.
It's interesting you say
if I could throw out something real quick on that subject. See, my mom's died when I was 8, and my pops was always there. They were married, but he couldn't take care of us because he was working 16 hours a day. So I moved in with my aunt. She became my guardian, and my grandmother, grandfather, and I was a house full of women, just a whole house full of women. And my father remarried 8 years later, and he moved down the block, and he started a new family. My stepmother was a beautiful woman. And I got a chance to see more of him because he used to come home at night. He took care of my younger brother and sister. He couldn't take care of us. And they adore him like we do. But it's funny, my older brother, he still harbors ill feelings against my pops for not being there. I was pretty much ambivalent to it, you know.
Right.
But I can see we're a year apart, but he felt completely different that Pops wasn't around as much when we had to move in. But one of the things that I realized about men, young boys with no fathers around in general, and I never understood this term until I got a little older. In my old Parliament Funkadelic days, they had a term called "you can't miss what you can't measure." And a lot of boys today never had any kind of inkling of father figures. So they can't miss what it is to not have a father. And that's even worse than having a little bit of a father figure as opposed to growing up with no father figure whatsoever. They don't even have a frame of reference of what it means to have a man in your life. You know, so they're completely lost. And in terms of how to act and behave like a man, because they never had it. And if they didn't get into sports, they wouldn't even get it by proxy by having coaches and things of that nature. So the kind of fellas that we have running around today who have fathers completely alienated from them, they're just strong women. Those guys are strong. Those guys are massive women because they just think like women, but they have muscles like men, and they're very dangerous. And so for the most part, not all of them, but that's what we're seeing out in the neighborhood. And so a lot of them can't even measure what it means to have a father figure. And those kind of guys, if they're not coming towards male leadership, there's no way you can go towards them because they don't want to hear it. They have to be.
You're saying they can't measure what it is to have a father because they never had one, right?
That's right. They never had any figures like that. So there's a difference. If you had a father figure, go ahead.
I mean, they know that they're supposed to have a father, right? They know that hey, mom had sex with a man, and that man should be my father.
No,
they can't measure what it is to have a father, but I think that a lot of men or a lot of young boys do carry around the anger and the hurt and the frustration of not having one, even if it's a bad one.
Mine is a theory. You can have your theory is to, if you never had a man, if your mother never had a man in her life that was serious, how do you know what it is to be of not having a father? You don't have no frame of reference.
Yeah, you do.
I'm telling you, this makes a difference.
When that young man looks in the mirror, that's his frame of reference right there.
Yeah, he has no relativity.
Look, Ron, Brother Payne, I promise you it is. I hear them boys talk about it. Boys, who, like I said, their father left out when they came in the world, but they have a frame reference. You have samples. You look around, and there's maybe somebody in your family who they have a father. That's another frame of reference.
Okay,
that's what I'm supposed to have. Someone who looks like me, who may even have my last name. That's their frame of reference as well.
Okay. I mean,
and to add on what Hank was just saying, he said it earlier. Sometimes your frame of reference is what you don't have or what you want not to be. And I think that early on in my life, I had the similar experience of not having or what I didn't have and growing up with resentment to not wanting to be that. And then as I grew older and my mother was able to release me to my dad, I learned otherwise at a great time, I might say. I was blessed to do so. And one thing I learned further on after my father passed and I was in the corporate world is that absence is so prevalent amongst men because mentorship is not something that we embraced, and we need to do it better in our communities. We have mentors, but it's not a common thing. It's people who have passion or who have hurt or who have gone through some of the things that each of us described, that then segues into us wanting to be that example. But I'll say this: in the corporate world, for example, I we could have went a lot further had we listened to those men who had paved the way in that job that I was in. But we were so arrogant and was basically like, F them old cats. And them old cats was like, F them young cats. And there was a disconnect that was never spoken, but was very prevalent. And as I grew older, I was like, yo, I wanted to speak to those older cats and ask them, yo, why didn't you take us up under your wing? As well as apologize for those of my peers who didn't want to go up under the wing and get some tutelage and get some guidance because we was too arrogant and too full of ourselves. And we then missed the opportunity to carry on legacies and to take over that corporate world because we were so disconnected.
Mm. Did they give you a reason why they didn't, pretty much take you up under their wings?
I never really got a chance to sit down with some of the specific people that I was referring to, but it was pretty evident because, and like I said, it was my peers that I would blame it on because they was like, F them old head, because they didn't respect what they had did sacrifice in order for us to even have the opportunity to position ourselves in that place of arrogance and in that place of confidence and posturing ourselves like that, and seeing how the younger generation below me were taking the same position that we took. I didn't need to ask, it was pretty much understood. And so I had to approach those younger cats from a different angle and really try and connect, as Hink said, and as some others said, in a different manner to where I've honed in on our similarities instead of our differences, and I try to highlight those things so that we can start dialogue and they can earn and understand the respect for me. But it starts with me having the respect for them.
Gotcha. Okay.
I 100% agree with what Hank was saying in terms of pull up your pants and all that. But I'm with 100 Black Men of America. And so I started to do it differently because if you don't resonate with them, your message goes in one ear and out the other. So if you use their slang, if they see you got Jordans, right, and things of that nature, you'll find that they listen to that music all day, every day. So if you sound like that and kind of appear as such, you can start to build some type of bond, right? And then you have a baseline where they understand that you understand what they understand, and then you can start implementing and some of the things that Hank mentioned. So I just use that in a way to kind of make more of a stamp or a mark on the kids, you know what I mean? And I coach high school football as well, right? So I found that that's how you resonate with them, and then they know that I play college football, so that helps, things that they can align with. So my father, he worked sun up to sundown, concrete pouring, that type of, and I played football my whole life. And you see the movies where it's like the kid's doing a hell of a job and then he look in the crowd and his parents ain't there. And you be like, how the hell he looking for them and all these people giving wild love, right? My father missed one game. It wasn't even like a big game, but I had like 20 tackles. I was going off. And I kept looking where he usually is at the home game, and he wasn't there. And I dead ass had one of those movie moments, like, you know what I'm saying? Of how much like he wasn't there. I felt corny as hell, but I'm like, yo, just one game, one regular season game, not even college ball, just one game. And that game is ingrained in my head. You know what I'm saying? So it's really real, The one thing that I hate for our people is what Hank said about how we have that trauma response to not having a father. And now we want to be the greatest father ever. But then what happens is sometimes we overcompensate. You know what I'm saying? And so not to say it's a bad thing, but a trauma response to anything, you got to watch it, So it just sucks that we have to respond in that manner for the things that we often come from, So
Yeah, trying to fill what we needed to be filled. And the kids, they're going to be their own people and grow up to have their own shortcomings. But children altogether respond to love, period. Right? So you know when someone is giving you love and you know when they're not. Even the tough love, it may not register as love at that point in time, but it's still, you're still getting the protection, attention, and care from a parent. But when you don't have those things, that's why I was talking to our pain. Like when you don't have those things, like I could speak from the foster care and adoption sector. So not having my biological mom did make me question, and it did give me the anger and all of that, because it's like I don't have it and I don't know what it's like to have it, but why don't I have it? You go into the, well, why am I different? Why did this happen to me? Like, and then Hank talking about, I never thought about the aspect of, a mother, a family unit breaking up, and now the son is just not seeing his father as much. And it may not be because I think sometimes mothers, and I've actually witnessed this with my own two eyes, but mothers will keep the children away from the father or make it such a struggle that you really don't understand how bad that's affecting the child. I don't understand why mothers keep their fathers away from their children. It's just the craziest thing to me, how two people can make a baby and you think you have the right and authority to keep this child away from their father. But that creates a resentment that didn't need to be there. You're resenting the father, and the father probably did try to call, and you probably like that woman in the text message that's like, well, I'm gonna tell him it's your fault. I'm gonna show them that you were supposed to provide and you didn't provide, yet you're providing. You're just not providing in the way that woman may have wanted you to provide. But as long as the child is taken care of, that should be the only thing that matters. So when children don't have these fathers or father figures, I do believe it builds up in an emotional, I would say like a tornado within them. Because then when you go to play sports, when you go to just be in school in general, and y'all are talking about acknowledgement, right? You go to play sports and your parents not there, you like, I wish they were here. Why are they not here? And so you build up that anger against them, not realizing that there are other forces that are holding you two away from each other. And sometimes it is the father. Sometimes he doesn't put forth that effort. Sometimes he just not, following in his fatherly duties and what he should be doing. And shame on him. But a lot of times it's they split up. He done moved, she done moved over here, he done moved over here. He's trying to do whatever he can, and you're just making it, and a woman is just making it difficult. But the child itself, they do need to get out what's going on with them. Like that's the only thing that helped me with my adoption and foster care. I had to go to a therapist. I had to, because I was just snapping. I was angry. I was cursing my principal out. It was bad. Like I had to go talk to somebody. And so, and I'm a woman, right? So just imagine a little boy grown into a man not being able to talk about that. Now, how is he expressing it? Is he on the corner? Is he fighting people? Is he stealing cars? Is like, what is he getting himself into to numb the pain of not having that parent there? Because girls can kind of be, confined, but little boys roam free, So, we have to consider that. And I wanted to point out, and you guys, if there's a moderator in the chat or King, where guys can find you, because I don't think there is a lot of big brothers or man coaches out there that are taking accountability for the next generation and saying, hey, I know what it's like out here, or I know what it's like to not have a father. And I try my best to encourage young men who don't have fathers to live this way or to react this way or dress this way, right? That's a standard. And you're saying, oh, no, you can't come in here with your pants down. Well, we want to take them as they are, but we don't want to have them continue to do what they're doing. So that's how you raise a standard. And so I think that young men and young women, but that's another conversation, but young men definitely need that example and people that they can go to, that they can see and that are tangible to them and say, you know what, I'm gonna go talk to him because I got some things on my mind and I don't think I'm acting this out the right way, or I don't think my actions are giving me favorable results.
Can I add something though there, Precious? And I think this goes unsaid, right? For all the altruistic men there are that wouldn't mind going back into the hood and or places where little boys need them, I think that's a small percentage of men. I think the most percentage of men says, listen, those women made their bed and they could sleep in it.
Mm.
You know, so they're gonna have all these fatherless kids. I'm not coming out there to save their asses. You know, so you admire the guys who will do it, but it's always gonna be a smaller percentage of men doing that, and a larger percent of men saying, listen, you chose Pookie, Ray Ray, Poison Dick Harry, and you know, you live with what you've done.
Mhm.
You know, there's, I mean, I'm telling you, I mean, I do a little bit of, it's just the way it is. I think that's just life. The men who are,
You're
and
right.
women who are out there, you know, so I don't know how you get past it.
I
Because
mean,
Umar Johnson tried to, I'll just say this, Umar Johnson tried to shame men into doing something like that. And he doesn't have no right to do that, by the way. But anyhow, you know, so that's just the point. As an unspoken thing, do you shame the men for not coming back, or do you say they have a point? You know, one way or the other. You can go one way or the other.
I don't think it's you know, you shame anyone, but I think, you know, what we do, like what I feel like I do, or what I think that I do, what I know that I do is provide a service where other people probably won't do it. They won't take out the time to do it. They won't take out their time to
Right.
say, "Hey, look, let's have these conversations because they're important." They'll go and be on media takeout or neighborhood talk or whatever. And don't get me wrong, I'd be doing my scrolling too. But I also put in my time and I put in my service because I feel as though it's important. And
Right.
so, no, we can't shame anybody for not wanting to serve because honestly, you have to have a heart to serve.
Right.
You,
True.
you're not gonna find nobody that's gonna serve and they really don't want to do it, right? That don't go together. So, you know, those people who have a heart to do it, I'm just asking that you do it.
I don't know, Precious. I think everybody's so silent, just talking on panels. I think we complicit in the foolishness that's going on in our neighborhoods, right? Because 70% of us are doing all right, right? But if you don't go back and at least they can see you at the very least, stop then you can't complain about the carnage that's going on.
Right.
You got to be outside, right? There's one thing to be talking, but if you're not outside trying to make an impact, I don't want to curse, but you know, please close your mouth. You feel me? Like that's just how I feel, kind of like, you know. So I don't know. I guess I disagree. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I disagree. Like shame actually works. If we had more shame, I think people would stand more to their principles. But now that we're getting so much money, people are foregoing principles because they don't want to lose the bag, quote unquote. You know what I mean?
You know what? I agree with
Fact.
you, but where does shame? How far does shame go? Do you just shame the guys for not helping, or do you shame for the people who are perpetrating the dastardly deeds? You know,
Everybody.
everybody needs to be shamed a little bit. Then, you know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying?
Yes,
So I
sir.
don't disagree with what you're saying. Yeah, I think, but shame has been long gone.
I
I
mean,
don't think everybody's ashamed of
I
it.
hear you, Arpain, but that's the reason mirrors exist. They gotta look themselves in the mirror. I think
Yeah,
ultimately it's the
it's,
children that's gonna benefit from it. And I don't mean
I
to sound
agree.
cliche. So what I would do is I would say, you know, kind of like charity, get in where you're familiar. You know, if you're like Hamp, you know, he do football. You know, I got the little nonprofit, so we do the book bag thing and you know different things for the children. So I think get in where you're familiar, like you know Hank, he does basketball and with his son. So you know, spend your time there or try to help the kids that are you know in your immediate circle. And maybe if even if it's just one, but just letting them know that they're important, especially when they come from latchkey homes and maybe areas
Mhm.
where they are not valued. I think when we show them that you know we
Okay.
care, I think it resonates with them. And even more to the parents, like it's not just they children, they our children too, man. Like they may come in
Absolutely.
contact with our children. My child might fall in love with one of these kids. So, I think, me and the missus look at it like they all our children. And if they parents is falling asleep at the wheel, we'll be more than happy to wake your ass up and let those kids know that they important, because they need somebody to say it, man.
Just to be clear, I'm not against anything you guys just said, but I'm just saying the reality is still out there.
Yeah,
But,
we just gotta
you know.
change it, Mr. Payne.
Yeah, I hear
And
you.
this how shame sounds, right? You
Yep.
sitting in the house on Friday night, right? I
Mhm.
call you, Mr. Payne, what you doing? Oh, I'm watching. Nigga, you ain't doing shit.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
bring your ass with me to talk to these kids. You ain't that stupid. That's how, like, it don't gotta be that deep. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No, I'm with
You
you.
know, it just gotta be like, come on, you
I'm
ain't
with
doing
you.
nothing, but nothing you shouldn't be getting drunk. Whatever everybody, you know what I mean?
No, I hear what you're saying.
Just like that.
The
you know?
normal. You got to go outside the norm if you want to change, right? You got to be
That's
the
what it
change
is.
you want to see. So
No, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Something just that simple. You have somebody just nudging you. Hey, let's come hang out with me. I got something we could do together. Blah 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 blah. I know. I used to every Saturday we used to like teach help kids with their math in the high school. We had the high school. We would have a classroom training, boys and girls, right? And that program lasted for a couple of years, and I felt good just volunteering for that. I guess money and funding ran out and stuff like that. But I wonder what happened to that program. I know it died when we were there, but did it morph into something else? That would have been nice. But I understand what it is to try to help other kids out, black boys and girls. And back then it was co-ed. But I do hear you guys. I'm just saying, I don't know. The
yeah, you're
pipeline is
saying what the
full.
reality is for a lot of men, but I don't think that they're seeing the bigger reality. Most times when people serve, they see the bigger reality that it's beyond them. Because when you say you're not gonna really serve someone, it's almost like I'm gonna just be selfish for a little bit. I'm gonna be selfish for me. This don't concern me. They don't concern me. Who cares are those ain't my that's not my responsibility. When back in the day, like Mr. He said, was saying about how we should be today, but back in the day, it used to be like that. Like when
No,
I
I
used to
mean,
get in trouble in Jersey City, my neighbors used to tell my foster mom, like, Michelle acting up. So I used to be scared that the neighbors was going to see me. Then I used to be scared that I was to get home, get a whipping. Like it was there was too many checkpoints, and there's not that many checkpoints nowadays. Kids just do whatever, they say whatever, they think they could
Well,
disrespect you.
at my age, there was checkpoints. Our next door neighbors was our nemesis. They
Yeah.
couldn't wait to tell on us. Man. You kidding me?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
They
especially when
would
your
just
Before
parents are
they
involved
would
and
go
yeah,
my
before
my parents used to
integration.
make me and my neighbor, me and my brother, shovel other people's snow and rake the
Yeah.
leaves and just serve. Like that just was how we were raised.
Yeah, before integration, we had circumstantial community. It was due to the circumstances that we were faced with. We weren't integrated with anyone, so we only could rely on ourselves, look after ourselves, and commune with ourselves. And that has been missed because we have trained people, our children, to be very superficial, very selfish, as we were just discussing earlier. And that selfish and superficial mentality needs to be renewed. We need a renewal of the minds in order to change any direction. I just noticed it this weekend. It was a revelation or a confirmation rather. My granddaughter came out here and she's having issues out in Florida. And she came out here and came around different people. She came to a new place, which invited her and exposed her to new people or different people. And that changed her perspective. And unfortunately, everybody doesn't get blessed that way. And it was a reminder, as I said, or revelation, but a confirmation, because when I was her age, I fell victim to the same thing, the environment, to where when I came out to California, I share this story often. And I was walking down the street of Hollywood Boulevard and somebody said hi to me. I'm throwing up my hands, wanting to fight them. And my brother looked at me and said, yo, you can't go back. And again, I wasn't on no real rah-rah, even though I was around. I just wanted to be cool with my friends. And what I shared with my granddaughter, I was like, yo, you are reminding me of me. And now it's that time where you have to be removed from that environment. Because quite frankly, I just wanted to be down and just wanted to be what I call average. You know, I had guidance counselors, all types asking me, well, why are you doing this? I said, I just want to be normal. I just want to hang out with my friends. And one of my friends, when I was speaking with my granddaughter, I was reminded that a couple of years ago, speaking to one of my friends, he said, yo, Shiz, if you didn't leave New York, you'd be locked up because all of us got locked up, or we did. And that was a harsh reality that I was fortunate enough to escape from, but we don't always get the opportunity to escape. I was just fortunate because my father moved to California prior to his absence in my life that we were speaking about earlier, to where I started designing myself about the trying to become the man that he wasn't in my eyes. Not realizing that as I was doing that and in his absence, I started really leaning towards and embracing the men who were in my life around the neighborhood and wanting to be more like them after a while. And that's where the story that just led to that story where luckily I was able to have somebody identify it because I didn't even identify it in myself. And that's where that mentorship, that's where that male guidance, that's where that community that we are lacking, that everybody we are in need of, but we become very superficial. All we tell people about is the bag, and we can't be mad at them trying to get a bag. I made that point with NWA versus Sexy Red. She's only doing updated version of what NWA did. She's out there trying to get a bag the way that she was taught to get it. Now she's of course doing it a lot more risque than we did it, but we was doing it a lot more risque than the other people did it. NWA was doing it a lot more risque than LL and Rakim was doing it. So she's only a reflection of what she's been taught, and nobody's identifying it. And the funny thing is, I just was listening to an interview, which is a great interview that took place between Cam Newton and Charleston White. I looked at it last night, and he was hitting on a lot of points of hypocrisy in our communities, of how we sit there and we try and damn because we so entranced with celebrityism and money, and we keep on acting as if we're not, and we're and we excuse it and we act like, oh nah, we damn those who speak out against it, but none of us stay consistent on what we on any values. None of us stay consistent on any moral obligations. I can't say none of us, let me take that back. Most of us don't, because the select few, and I commend, I said it last week and I say it again, the brothers who we speak on, as well as you, Precious, we are like minds, but we kind of here speaking to the choir often because we are like minds. We need some of those opposing minds to come and join us so that we can discuss it with them, and they and very respectfully and openly hear what they're saying, because when they was beefing with me, oh, you can't take up for Sexy Red. I said, I'm not taking up for Sexy Red, but I can't dismiss that NWA did the same exact thing. And I said it 2 years before Special Ed said it this year. When King Vaughn died, I was saying it. I said, everybody's sitting there getting mad, but this is what we allowed to happen. Our generation allowed that to happen, and we did nothing about it. So now, let's change the pace.
There's no time like the present. So,
Agreed.
The more that we have these conversations, I think, sometimes you have to set yourself apart too. The fools got to see what the fools look like. They to know that there is something different, to know that there is a different way of doing things. And when they see that, the way that they're doing things are not really going to get them anywhere, or they hit their heads hard enough, then they'll understand. But I do agree with incorporating those who do not have the same thoughts into the conversation. but you know, I don't tolerate disrespect and, you know, craziness either. So as long as we can have a civilized conversation, I don't mind it. But as soon as it starts getting out of hand, you got to go. So I'm going to go on to this last video because we're going to circle it back, right? So we started out with the mixed messages, and then we went on with the football player who cheated on his woman who was taking care of him, who had been with for 4 years. He had a spinal injury. We went on to pretty much a man realizing that he wasn't really emoting. He was just talking about his emotions, but he wasn't really expressing them. And further on to a video where young men got the opportunity to express their emotions with someone who took the time to do that with them. But I wanted to get into this video as the last video. We come full circle about cheating because this guy has two views about it. He's actually doing one video and then the other one is a response. But I want to get you guys' thoughts on it. And again, it's about cheating and why are you scared to lead?
Watching Neil Long and Jeezy's interview, he brought up cheating. And no, Neil Long brought up cheating, and he kind of replied and answered that that's something men don't like doing. Let me say this, because I don't want to be long. I want to be really quick and tell. From my experience, when in my past, if a woman chose me and I was only content but not completely satisfied, then I wandered off. If a woman that I chose that I felt like partially I almost didn't deserve her, I never cheated. Men only cheat when they feel they have something to lose. Steve Harvey didn't make that up. It's just real talk, staff meeting.
You might be spitting
You
bars.
muted.
But
You
you're on
muted,
mute.
Precious.
Well, Precious, play that one more time.
Okay.
He said a lot of stuff there. Why don't you, if you don't mind?
Okay, no problem. Let's see here.
While watching Neil Long and Jeezy's interview, he brought up cheating. And no, Neil Long brought up cheating, and he kind of replied and answered that that's something men don't like doing. Let me say this, because I don't want to be long. I want to be really quick and tell. From my experience, when in my past, if a woman chose me and I was only content but not completely satisfied, then I wandered off. If a woman that I chose that I felt like partially I almost didn't deserve her, I never cheated. Men only cheat when they feel they have something to lose. Steve Harvey didn't make that up. It's just real talk, staff meeting. One of the
Okay, so so that's why I wanted to get you guys' opinion on that. Because he said he would never cheat if it was a woman he thought that he didn't fully deserve. But if it was a woman who chose him, and he wasn't fully satisfied with her, then he would cheat.
Cap.
Absolutely, Cap. I don't know what none of these subjective ass words he using. And again, this just sounds like Stockholm syndrome to me. Like deserve, like so the woman is automatically on a pedestal, the one that he doesn't think he deserves. So I don't get his jargon. I don't agree with his sentiment. I have cheated before. I've never cheated on Mrs. Harris, you know, fortunately. Coming up on 26 years together. But I have cheated before. And I just weigh the scale. How nice you are, how good you are to me, how compatible we are, you know, all of those things came up on the scale, and for whatever reason, she just came up on the short end of the scale that day. It really wasn't, you know, all of this analytical thought that's put into it. We don't want to cheat. If we had a woman that would keep our belly full and our nuts empty every time we left the house, we would not cheat.
Mm.
If she asked us if we wanted some top on the fly, like, wait, what you say? I thought you said you might have wanted some head. But girls, they don't even operate like that. And again, these be the men that they say be the men of their dreams. Like, how you not gonna treat him like that? Because I'll ask you in a minute if you my late wait, what you need? Hurricane tongue? I got you. This is what I'm here to do. I'm here to hurricane tongue you and support you. And this is the person. But if we can't be that open, be that honest, be that witty, be that sexual, be that quirky with them, it's gonna be an uphill battle, and they are more likely to cheat. But when you keep their attention, when you got some clean drawers, and when you notice there's a hole in your drawers, you go and get some more. It's these little things. Like I said, Presh, I'm a Tuesday, Wednesday thinker. I know the anniversary coming. I know her birthday coming. It come every year, but Tuesday, that's every week. And if I could be witty and charming and date night, and sometimes we got to sit our ass down, and all of these things is what got us to 26 years. We ain't just laying here. So, you know, this is all of the things, and this is how we operate over here. We appreciate every day, not just Christmas Day, not just Thanksgiving Day. We appreciate every day. And if you don't look at your relationship like Alcoholics Anonymous, you're looking at it wrong. You go at it one day at a time. Tell that man you love him. Tell him you appreciate him. Tell that girl you like her. Smack her on her butt. Do that every day consciously. Next thing you know, you're gonna look up, it's gonna be years down the road, and y'all gonna actually like each other. But it has to be practiced. Like, we practice basketball, we practice all of these things, and I just hear so much talk about marriage. Today I just heard the worst articulation from men about marriage ever. Like, they are more loyal to the state when it's time for sports to be played, Precious.
Mm-hmm.
You tell them about marriage, they be like, I don't want the state. Oh, the state and its papers and the papers in the state. Tell them the Giants is playing. They be like, go New York, go Cowboys. They are more loyal to the state than the women that they say they love over everything. And that is puzzling to me, because if she's an amazing woman, man, make her an honest woman. Stop her from floating around in this world dishonest.
Well, you said a whole lot, and I just want to say I commend you. And I want to summarize it like this, because you've been saying it all night. In other words, you have consideration for somebody other than yourself, your wife specifically, and you appreciate who you're considering. You're considering intentionally. You know, if it doesn't work out, then that means the key word in that it didn't work out between us is you didn't work. So if you ain't working, it's not going to work. There's no relationship that does not take work, and it's not work. And when you get to a finish line, it's consistent work. The same way you will work on to keep your job, the same way you will work to keep your position on a team, the same way you will work to cheer your team on, as you was just giving that example. That's all energy and consistency that you do naturally for no purpose whatsoever. It's like you're a rebel without a cause when it comes to things like that. But then when you should be rebellious about the cause of your relationship, you're absent, you're missing, you don't understand it, you don't want to embrace it. You like the authority, but you don't like the responsibility that comes with the authority of that relationship that you are entered into when you get married.
Anybody else want to speak on his first part about cheatation?
Yeah, I
Go
mean,
ahead, Hank, go ahead.
so,
Oh, wait, I think King was about to go.
Well, listen,
so
I was
every
gonna
time,
listen. Let me real quick. I heard what the guy says. I kind of just, I mean, not kind of disagree. I don't
You're
like his
a goddamn
parameters.
bully, man. You're a goddamn bully.
Oh, yeah, see, I didn't know you was right. I'm gonna be real quick, so you can listen. I don't agree with his premise. You know, listen, I think some men cheat based on the options they have, and then some men cheat just because they're cats. Like I said, if you want to being faithful is a choice every day. As simple as that. It doesn't matter whether first of all, I disagree with this whole notion that she chose him kind of thing, as opposed to him choosing her. I mean, whatever. What difference does it make? You're in a relationship with her or not? Guys cheat because they choose to. Simple as that. All the rest of it is just words. If you choose to cheat and you do it, then you're acting on you're just acting on your impulse. If you choose not to cheat, you won't, regardless of whether she chose you, quote unquote, or you chose her. You just want to be faithful. So that's what I think. I make a decision every day to be faithful to my wife. Well, and it's not that hard for me because, I'm not Casanova, right? So the guys who have a lot of girls throwing themselves at them, right? They say those guys have options, but all of those dudes don't actually cheat, right? Some guys who have money, looks, and everything, they don't all cheat. Some of those guys decide not to, and it might be hard to believe, but some of those guys actually don't cheat, so it's always a choice. Your women don't cheat on you because they make a choice. And that's all I think. So everything else is just like talk. That's all. That's just my take on it.
King, did you want to finish what you were saying? And then
No, that was actually it. Art Payne said that in one of our prior panels about a subject very similar to this, and he also said the line, every day that he wakes up, he makes choices to do XYZ, and that's the same type of thing that I'm on. If you cheat, you made a choice to cheat. So yeah, I really don't have anything different. That was what I was gonna say.
Okay. Hank, did you want to weigh in on this, or you want to keep going with the video?
I don't know. If I start talking, Payne gonna shut me off. God damn bully. Yeah, I didn't understand what my man was saying. I mean, she chose him, he's gonna cheat. If he chose her, he's not. I'm more with the brother. He said, man, I mean, ladies, as long as you make sure he's good, more likely he's not gonna step out. Unless he's just an ornery, selfish son of a bitch. I mean, you got some men out there like that. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But for the most part, if you do those bare minimum things, like brother he said, keep them free and well fed, and somewhat be kind and courteous and respectful. Shit, you're gonna have a solid man. He's gonna be down, like 4 flat tires. If you ain't acting like that, yeah, Nancy at work gonna get all his attention. Then it's too late. He's checking out hotel rooms, sliding to the side after work. Instead of going to happy hour with the guys, he's really going to the hotel with Nancy, that beautiful mayonnaise looking woman.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm curious.
A bullshit.
Hey, Hank, is he taking Nancy to the Red Roof Inn, or does Nancy at least get the Holiday Inn Express treatment?
Well, and Nancy more than likely gonna get that $65 hotel room. It might just be a hotel. I ain't gonna lie.
Don't worry about an hour. Don't worry about you pay by the hour.
She's gonna get whatever got the least amount of traffic.
Damn Nancy.
All right, keep them free, keep them fed, keep them feeling good. We're gonna finish this video and get up out of here soon. I don't know where we at. Oh, I gotta put
The
my
best questions
page.
out of all the comments that I really did admire and enjoy was, and it was said multiple times by different people, different ladies, why don't men just leave? Why stay there if you're not content? And I'm going to be honest with you. Let's keep it a buck. everyone has this thing called fear where they tend to like security. And if a woman provides a security blanket, if a man provides a security blanket, no one wants to take that blanket off. Men are not only just guilty of this, women as well. Whereas they are in something for the wrong reason. So when we say, why don't someone just leave? I think it's very important that we look in the mirror and ask ourselves that very same question. Why are you scared to leave?
All right, and that's why we're here tonight. Why are you scared to leave? So do you guys think that there's a fear of leaving? Do you think that security blanket and that knowing, you don't know what you don't know. So, the regular routine of what you do know, is that better for you? Go ahead, Arpane.
Most men don't leave because they make a business decision. Because when they leave, it costs them. It costs you, especially if you make more than your woman. So guys will stay in sexless marriages, horrible situations, because the cost to leave is too great. They rather just live lives of quiet desperation until maybe they come to a realization they'll be better off. I don't think that's the same for women, so I disagree with him. Women can leave regardless of the security blanket because they could take half your shit with them. So not that whether they're big, they might think the grass is greener, depending on the disparity in your income. Women know they could leave. They might get the house, they might get the child support, they might get alimony, whatever. So the security blanket, I think when women stay with a man, it makes more, it's a louder judgment than as if she leaves. Because I think most women understand that they can leave, depending on how the situation is. If they stay with you, that's more of a statement than when they leave you. But if they stay with you, they're staying with you regardless of the situation, that they can have freedom and your shit at the same time. Mm-hmm. They don't have to put up with you. And so if they stay, they're telling you something. If they go, I say most women, with a large percentage of women do now, for just any reason, I'm not happy, or whatever it is, and then they take all your assets, or a lot of your assets, with them, and now they have your assets and the freedom. So that's how the laws are written.
Financial fear.
Yeah, I think for most men, I think it's financial fear. I think so. Put up with a lot of shit because of the financial fear.
Okay. Sean, are you still there?
Yeah, he seemed like he's there.
Okay. What about Mr. He said, or Hank, whoever wants to go next? He pretty much said there's a security blanket. Everyone has a security blanket, and when you have the security blanket, you cling on to that. And he asked the question at the end: why are you scared to leave? What is the fear? You're cheating, get cheated on, whatever it is. Why are you fearful to leave? Other than the financial fear, we done went over that already. Good evening, JR. How are you?
Good evening. How you doing? I'm doing fine.
What's up,
Good.
Oh, no,
Thanks
panel.
for
How you
joining.
all? No problem.
What's up, bro?
I think other than the financial reason, and maybe if there are kids involved, you definitely don't want to go that route of breaking up a family if you can help it. I mean, I think that could possibly be another reason why, or maybe there's signs that you can reconcile the situation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Maybe there's you can somehow, some way get past the cheating. I mean, I don't know if I could do that, but some people can. They could probably do that. And maybe for religious reasons why they don't want to do it, for whatever reasons they don't want to do that, or maybe it could be the shame that they may feel the guilt that they may feel about doing that. I don't know. There's just a couple reasons that I can think of.
Okay.
And Precious, what I was saying, what Payne said, she's the keeper. That's what he was saying initially.
Say it again.
It's cheaper to keep her.
I think you said it's
Is
cheaper
it
to
going
keep
on?
her.
Cheaper to keep her.
Yeah.
It's cheaper
Oh,
to
okay.
keep her.
Got you.
And sometimes that
Cheaper
is
to
the
keep her.
case. Yeah, and sometimes that really is the
Absolutely. I
case.
mean, yeah,
Financial,
she spoke
the
to that. She
financial
spoke
fear.
to
We
that
talked about
financial
that.
fear. Yeah,
Yeah,
she
no,
spoke
that's
to
what I
that
was saying. I
financial
said
fear.
that's what Payne. I was just repeating what Payne said. I heard him saying, and then I heard y'all saying it. I just could, when you had asked me, I had a technical
You
problem.
cut out
But
for a second.
in addition
Gotcha.
to that, in addition to that, people, I mean, when people lie to me, the reason why I don't lie is because I feel like it's a form of weakness, and they're afraid of something. They're afraid of losing something, and I feel a lot of men fall victim to that. They're afraid of something, either afraid of hearing their wife's mouth, afraid of losing, like you said, finances, afraid of losing something, and it goes the other way as well with women versus men. They're just afraid, and so yeah. Why don't they let them go? Are they afraid? Yes. I don't know what they're afraid of. That varies. But if you're gonna sit there and be in it, often, yeah, you are afraid. But sometimes it's rational. Like Hank just brought up the point of trying to fight for it. I think men sometimes, I don't know if it's our competition, but we really, when we feel defeated, we want to make it work. We want to fix it. We want to figure out how to make it better. And we'll go after it very compassionately, often. Not always, but often. And it's just the mere fact of winning. It ain't even sometimes about the relationship. It's just the mere fact that they don't want to lose and they feel like if they're losing. And that's just a wrong place and position to take it from. Unfortunately, it's a harsh reality that many we just fighting just because we feel we lost or we feel we losing something. And
Well,
sometimes it's something we
Sean,
don't
real
even
quick,
want.
Sean, real quick. If your wife cheats on you, don't you think, regardless of what you do, you already lost? Is any coming back from that? I mean, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it depends. Let me answer it. It depends on how thorough you were, because sometimes you weren't being thorough, and if you can't take accountability of, then
I'm sorry,
you know
man.
that's
So
that. But
it's a man's fault that your wife
if you
put
were,
out that cheat
Lord
spot.
have mercy.
Come on, brother.
I mean, come on, y'all know goddamn well that a lot of men are the problem for their women. Now, I'm not saying all the time, and no, I'm not acting like that's
That
every
wasn't the
case.
question, Sean.
But
Land the
we
plane,
know,
man. That wasn't even the question. You're getting so far off. The fears, besides financial is what Precious said. Maybe JR could save the conversation.
no,
JR,
but
save the conversation.
maybe I'm asking the question: could you come back if you haven't cheated? That's what I was answering.
So what I heard was there could be a fear of the unknown. Really. You know, there's a fear of the unknown. You just don't know. You already know the devil you're dealing with. So the fear of the unknown, you just what I heard him say is you don't want to lose. You know, you don't want to lose out on anything. And being with the person that's cheating on you, at least you still got somebody in your bed at night. I mean, they might be cheating on you, but you got somebody in your bed at night. You know? So that's what I heard Sean say. I don't know. I think the technical difficulties is making it a little bit difficult to hear and understand them, but that's what I heard.
Hey, Precious, if you don't mind, I get some clarification. So you saying that if hypothetically, if the woman cheats and the man stays, why don't he leave? Is that what the question is? Or is it just
So if he's gonna cheat, like why does he stay? Why doesn't he just leave? Like, why is he scared to
Okay, so
leave?
if he cheats, right? Okay. So just to answer this question, I think a lot of men are selfish. I think a lot of men are selfish. I think a lot of men, it's a two-part. I think the woman allows the man to do whatever it is he's going to do, and he knows that. And so he's going to continue doing it because she hasn't put up any boundaries or restrictions with him. So he's going to just keep doing what he do. If it's a real woman she's not going to stand for that. So she's going to cut it off. And that's when you'll see him begin to fight and start putting in the work. But if he has a woman, an insecure woman that feels as though that she needs him, he's going to continue to be selfish. He doesn't really respect that woman at all. And he's going to just keep just doing him. And so why should he leave? She's not doing anything that would suggest that he has to move anything different. She's already accepted who he is and what he does. She just overlooks it and turns her cheek. The only thing that she may speak about is if she's embarrassed. In that moment, that's when you might see her speak up about it, because not everybody knows what it is that she's accepted. But 9 times out of 10, her friends know that he ain't shit. And they try to tell him, well, maybe she just don't want to hear it. But a lot of men in that situation, they're just selfish. And they're not really factoring in and considering. They don't want to lose. And why should he have to lose anything?
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with
That's a
that.
very good point. That's a very good point.
The only thing I would add on top is I think it's a plethora of fears. I think, like you said, the fear of the unknown. I think it's the fear of the devil that you don't know. It's the fear of being associated with a failed relationship. It's so many different avenues that you got to start from scratch with somebody else. You may have to prove yourself again. It's a lot of work that's going to have to come into versus not working at all, versus saying I'm going to change and don't change, versus saying I'm going to do right and don't do right. So it's all of those things. I think it's a perfect storm of a bunch of fears, but I think it's the most safe and the most familiar place that we all operate from. We get fear mongered from TV all day. We get the color purple brought back out, Christmas coming up. Like, they regurgitate the fear of a bad relationship, of a bad man, of a gold digging woman, and we accept it and perpetuate it until we're able to look through it, look past it, look above it and beyond it. Again, we're going to be right here where we are, but again, this world is not meant to walk through by yourself.
It's time for us to change the scenario that men are the ones who cheat. Women cheat as much or more than men do in all facets of relationships. And so his scenario wasn't just for the man being wrong. What about a guy staying because his wife is doing wrong, his honey's doing wrong? He ain't always the loser. Sometimes the guy who stays with a cheating woman is because of finances, maybe the kids, and maybe both. But this whole thing that women are innocent little things walking around and men are just the cast, it's been bullshit for years. It's been complete, utter bullshit narrative for a long time. Women cheat on men all the time. In enough percentages that is actually significant. So I'm tired of us taking the L's for infidelity. It's not true. So we need to level that playing field, at least in the discussion, if we don't want to do it in real life. Paternity fraud is almost 30% across the board in America. That shit ain't because, and then the men who cheat, they ain't cheating with puppets, they're cheating with women. You think none of those women are married? So I think the narrative needs to start to change.
I think that I agree with that, but I think that the focus is more on the man because the man will cheat and stay. There are some women who can't even handle the transgression of cheating, and that's why they leave. Like they'll divorce him. They'll leave the relationship because they're not happy, right? They're not happy. But that I'm not happy means I've been banging Steve down the street for about a year now, and we're happy. So I might as well go be with Steve. and not the man who gave me my kids, who I've been through hell and high water with. And, so I think that's probably why men get a bad rap about it, because they'll just do it and just be there for years and have Mary down the street, but Mary would be down the street and you still at the house and all is well. But your wife, she can't handle sleeping in the same bed as you and banging Steve down the street. It's just, women just can't. I mean, unless you really, really savage.
Thank God that that's true, Preston. Thank God that that's still true.
Yeah.
That women, that the rank and file women can't do that. But that's slipping away also.
Yeah. Yeah, because I did do a clip of a woman who said, her husband cheat. Look, I'm about to cheat too. We about to just be in this house and keep moving like we've been moving. And we got this kid. Since you want to be out here, I'm gonna be out here. So you do have women, but I still don't think that women can keep that up for long. I think a lot of themselves, like a lot of us, but no, they can't do it. They'll go mentally and emotionally crazy. Something will take a fall, whether it's mental health, emotional health. Something is going to take a fall with that woman trying to juggle two men in a sexual capacity like that, especially with one being your husband. It's just not.
I'm with you. No argument here. I believe that's still true.
Yeah. So, but did anyone else want to speak on this man's evaluation of cheating and
I think I was having
asking the
difficulties
question of
earlier.
why you're scared to leave?
I think I was having technical difficulties because a lot of the points that were made is some of the things that I was attempting to say. JR hit a lot of things very significantly, and I think the fear that he made mention to in reference to some of the men. I don't know. Let me rephrase that, because I don't want to just JR. I saw your point. I can't remember all of the details right now, but the point that I want to add to what the man was saying is men. You said Pain. We need to change the narrative. I think the narrative we need to change is accepting that cheating is okay. And that's a narrative that we say so, or us men started that. All men cheat. It wasn't all women who started that. We started that. It's in our man's nature. And we need to change that narrative to something a bit more respectful or a bit more accountable on our actions. Because like we said, it's a choice that we make. And it's a choice that we make because there's no consequences. That's the point that I was going to speak on, JR, that you made. There's no consequences and until there are consequences, that's when they want to shape up, and that's when they want to start, acting right. And guess what? Our women are following suit. When there's no consequences to a lot of their actions, and until they get checked on it, that's when they want to start acting right. So I think us as men, we got to change the narrative to start taking more accountability and responsibility of what we value in a relationship. And I heard a lot of men tonight speaking from it who have been in long-term marriages, speaking of what they valued, and we need to echo that a lot more significantly. And we need to really have that narrative be something that we focus on a little bit more collectively.
Sean, can I ask you a question, man?
Yeah.
So you remember last week how you was telling us you was mentoring these hoes and you was talking them up. Do you think would you consider that cheating if a woman who's not in a relationship with you, who's not in a marriage with you, but with another man, would you consider that cheating?
Yeah, if it was done, as I said, deceptively, yes.
I don't care. It is done deceptively because he doesn't know.
No. If you listen to what I said, wait. No, time out. Because if I said specifically that if I'm talking to a woman, I want her man involved. That's what I'm talking about.
take you seriously.
Yeah, but you already had an inappropriate conversation before her man got involved. When you made that statement
No,
to
no,
her,
no. That's
when
what
made
you.
that statement to
That's
her,
what
her
your.
man
That's what
right
your
on.
feelings felt because you got triggered when I said
Sure.
it. But no, I didn't
Sure.
have an inappropriate
So
conversation.
So when was her man on the phone when you made that statement? Is that what you telling me?
Repeat that.
Was that man on the phone, or was he right there in person with you when you first made that statement? Or did she have to call him up after you made that statement?
When it started going in the direction of where she was trying to, it started out in a conversation of some of the circumstances that she was challenged with. Now, when it started going in a direction of where she trying to blame him or she trying to get sympathy from me, that's when I call on him.
Okay, well,
I can't relate with Jesus. I can't relate with Jesus.
Because to me, once she had a conversation with you, she already started cheating.
I understand what you felt.
Because there's no way she should come to somebody other than me talking about our problems other than me.
And to be honest with you, and to be honest with you, that's exactly the point of view that I take. I'm like, there's no reason why you sitting there talking to me. I stop it there. But what I'm saying is once it goes in that direction, that's when I stop it. Like, nah, ain't no reason why you should be talking to me about something you can't talk to your man about. Get your man on the phone.
You to the point where you said, we need to involve your man, and now you want to call him up and have a conversation with him based on what you said last week.
Well, like I said, if we're going to continue the conversation, he needs to be involved, is what I said. If otherwise, this conversation got to stop there.
It should have never got started. You should have said, "Hey, man, you need
So
to have a conversation with
so I do, but you're trying to say I shouldn't have conversations with female friends?
No.
Okay, well, that's your insecurity. I don't agree with that. That absolutely is.
You don't know her intentions, son. You don't know her intentions.
You don't. But guess what? I know my intentions. That's what you don't know. And so you wait. So you taking the fact that you think I'm trying to do something to your woman. I know my intention. So I'm not worried about her intentions or yours.
What your intentions are. Her intentions is what you got to worry about. Look, let me say this. I could be sitting there having a conversation with a woman online, and then all of a sudden she say some shit, and my lady say, "Baby, you need to watch how she moves." No, she's not doing nothing. She don't see the intentions that I see, because as a woman, she sees certain intentions. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you just linked to the point that I just made. You don't trust of what I'm gonna do. And that's what you just described. Your woman don't trust of what that other woman's gonna do.
And that man shouldn't trust what you talking about.
Okay, I just said that. I just said that's the insecurity of that man because you don't know you don't trust.
It's not insecurity. Because let me tell you this: most men can't be friends with women without some type of hidden agenda.
Well, that's the whole thing. That's your trust level. That's what you don't believe. I can and have been. I ain't the only exception. There's plenty of people who do. I can and have been women that I have not had sex with, haven't had interest in having sex with them because they had a man. Now, if you don't want to believe it, I can't help you believe that.
You're right.
But I'm telling you directly, I have done this. As a matter of fact, there's one woman that I messed with who had a man, and I felt so horrible about it when I did finally speak with her man that I never want to do that again in my life and never have.
What? You cheated with this woman, and now you want to speak to her man? What the hell you got to say to the man?
Well, first off, let me explain to you how it happened. She was cheating with me, and then he called me like, yo, why are you with my woman? And we had a conversation. And when I had that conversation and saw how hurt that man was, I was like, yo, I couldn't mess with her, and I didn't want to mess with another girl from that point on. This was when I was in my 20s. I didn't want to mess with anybody who had any attachment to anyone else.
So now you see why I question your intentions.
I mean, Hank, did you just? I understood you. I understood why you. I I understood why you had questions from the start. That's what I said. I understood that clearly. And I'm not faulting you for it. I understand that's the nature of most people. I get it. Now, whether you don't believe what I'm saying is all that you're telling me. And I'm like, you can believe what you want to believe. I know what I'm saying. It's true. So I'm not concerned with what you think, whether it's true or not, because I ain't trying to get in your woman's panties. But if you feel that way, I can't sit there. But I will say this, I will stop talking out of respect for you if that is your request. Nah, listen, I won't talk with that woman because I ain't trying to get involved in your relationship, quite frankly. It just so happened that in the circumstances that I'm talking about, we were already friends prior to them having that man.
You should have did it just because it was the right thing to do. It shouldn't have to be out of disrespect for me. You should have did it just because it's the right thing to do, man.
Okay, what are you referring to?
I'm sorry you're going through this, but what do you think?
Did you just hear what I just said? She was a friend of mine before she had that man.
I don't care. Once you had
I know you don't. I do. There was a friend of mine before
you should have made some adjustments. Some adjustments should have been made. Come on, brother.
I don't care.
Let's keep it on.
But that's what I did. I made adjustments when, in fact, I saw it was an issue. First off, to your point, and I agree with you, I don't really like having conversations with women who are involved with men, period, because that ain't really my business. But if it was a friend of mine, which is what I'm describing, and happened some of the circumstances that I was describing last week, then I am a person that they come to and entrust because I have known them that long. And I have known them primarily and not ever tried to get in their panties.
I got you, but that conversation should have been real brief. It should have been.
I mean,
I would love to help you, but that's not my place. And that should have been it. It should have been no more conversation.
I understand that's your point of view.
I'm gonna say it again, baby girl. I think you need to have a conversation with your man. And if she come to get again, look her. Please stop coming with this bullshit because I'm not gonna help you. You need to go talk to your man.
Well, Hank, the funny thing is, I say that in other words.
You keep putting out the white flag for her, she gonna keep coming. What do you think she gonna do?
Yeah, what words you using?
What words am I using? First off, I do say, yo, you on some bullshit. Very directly, and let her know. She'd be like, oh, nah, what do you mean? He that. Nah, you are on some bullshit. That's where my conversations go. You're on some bullshit. And you need to get off that bullshit. You're on some entitlement. You're on some spoiled shit. And you ain't appreciating the man that you got. That's the conversation I have with her.
You say too many words. You need to go talk to your man. That's all the words need to be said. You need to go talk to your man.
I hear you. I hear you.
Okay, he ain't with it. He ain't trying to hurt. He ain't trying to have a conversation because I need to go talk to my man. You goddamn right. You need to talk to your man.
And Hank, I have
to. Trifling ass woman, your trifling ass watch on that. You ain't shit, bitch. You ain't shit for that shit, man. Because as a woman, you should be out here putting your man's business out there like that. Unless he's laying hands on you. Well, what are you doing? You just being angry and trifling.
Well. First off, you from what you're saying, you made some points that have been the case where hands were put on, and there are other circumstances. Most of the people,
I can't believe it, Jesus.
But most of the people that I speak to have been somebody who's been like a sister to me, a daughter to me, or a relative to me. So whether you
just watching the football game, boy, you moving the goalposts all up and down the field, man.
With a time, then I would have said, baby girl, you need to go file a police report.
And that's what I had. Well, Hank, you're saying nothing that I haven't said. You just going on how you're feeling. You don't know the details. You don't know the details. Again.
You feel like you had days and weeks and months of conversation where you was coaching up every week.
Did you just hear what I said? I known them for years prior to.
Man, brother. And if that's
So
the case,
so
they know you as a man is supposed to be a man of integrity. You should have known you need to talk to your man. I know it may not be what you want to hear, but that's what you need to do. Now, if this man is putting his hands on you, I would encourage you to file a police report. I will encourage you to get an EPO and get out of that house and get away from him and see if you could go to a relative's house and stay until things get settled. That's what I would encourage. It would have been a long, drawn-out conversation. We would have to keep talking about this. Next time she come with me, I'm say, how did it go down to the police precinct? Did you you file that report? Oh, you didn't? Why didn't you do that? That sounds like the most logical and smart thing to do. If this man is so-called putting his hands on you, you might want to get out of there because it sounds like it'd be a dangerous and volatile situation that you don't need to be in. And especially if you got kids, you need to get the kids. They don't need to be seeing them and being a part of that. Get out.
Well, Hank, was you on the phone with us? Because you sound exactly like what I said.
I wasn't.
So my point being,
Shot, if I was on the phone with you, what the hell are you doing, Shot?
But you got to realize, Hank, you already established last week. Your patience for what I do and what I do, you don't have the patience for. I get it.
No,
you said I ain't sitting there. You said, yo, I ain't sitting there trying to save nobody. That's what you said. Those are your words. I have tried to save. And to your point,
I said women should be coaching up women and men should be coaching up men.
Okay.
I should be having a coaching session with this woman. No.
Again.
An elder woman should be coaching her up, helping her out, encouraging her, and showing her information. Now, when it gets to the point of trying to get involved in a relationship, that elder woman need to tell her, baby, I will go talk to my man and see if y'all maybe go to some type of counseling session or maybe talk to your pastor and have some spiritual counseling, whatever you need.
But Hank, why would you suggest that? Wait. Now, let me ask you this. Why would you suggest that when and or if some of the pastors that you take them to are just as hypocritical as the people that they're having issues with? Well, and that's kind of the position that I take, and I'm like, if you're gonna
if you heard what I said at first, I said talk to your man. That's the first thing I said.
Okay, Hank, I already said that.
Counseling, you can or you can go to a therapist, a couples therapist. All for both of them, whatever it takes.
Okay. Well, I'll put it to you this way. I'm not opposed to what you're saying, and I have already, like I shared with you, have used some of the remedies that you speak of. But until you kind of understand all of the details of the dynamics of what I was describing last week, it'll be hard to kind of make a judgment on it.
You're right.
But
I'm saying
a lot of the points you're making are value, but some of those points come from an insecure place, from what you don't trust. And a lot of men have that same place, including myself at times. So I understand it, but I can't dismiss it and act like that's not on me, that I'm not having an insecurity when in fact I'm not trusting somebody who possibly could be trustworthy. But then you want me to trust a therapist, or you want me to trust a pastor, and I don't give that grace unless I have a reason to. I give everybody trust until they give me a reason not to.
Okay.
And other people
so
approach it
we're
from the
gonna
other
move
way.
on.
Okay.
But I think that there's a lack of trust because there was already established friendship there, Sean.
Can you give?
And so when you take that into consideration of a woman establishing a relationship with a man, she should wholeheartedly be able to go to her man about certain things. And she should also have the wisdom to not involve you, knowing that there could be, I'm not saying that there's always, but there could be a biased opinion because y'all friends. You're gonna ride for her. She gonna ride for you. There are gonna be times where you're gonna tell her. There are gonna be times where you're gonna tell her things that she does not want to hear. However, she still feels a level of comfort coming to you, whether you're telling her things she doesn't want to hear or not.
No, that's not true, Precious. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's not the case. And that's what is shown when, in fact, I speak with her. When I have them both on the phone, I ain't taking her side because she's my friend. And if she's wrong, I'm telling her in front of her man, yo, you on some bullshit.
Right, but what I'm saying
When
is
she
that
tries
she
to
still
defend,
finds. What I'm saying
Sean,
is she still
Sean,
finds a
there should be
level of
no
comfort
case where
with
you're on the
you.
phone with a woman and her man. Period. There should be no case
okay,
that
I
you're
hear
on the
your
phone with a
opinion.
woman.
I hear your opinion, but if you
That's
ask some of
it.
the men and women that I've been on the phone with, they would tell you otherwise. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, do what works for you, because every day that ends in the letter Y is a good one when we wake up. Okay. So, sometimes certain people have certain types of relationships that only they understand. So, we're going to leave it at that. We're going to get into some closing words this evening. It has been a great show. I appreciate everyone who has joined. I appreciate everyone who has participated in the chat. Thank you so much. But we're going to get into final thoughts. I know JR hasn't been here for the whole show, but you can still give your final thoughts. So we're going to start with you. We're going to go to Sean, then to Hank, and then we're going to close it off with R Pain.
All
I
right,
called you T-Pain earlier, R Pain, but
all right, final thoughts.
I'm sorry, JR.
Final thoughts. Something that I learned along the way is that just be intentional when you are engaging or seeking relationships with folks. Be intentional from the get-go. Don't waste nobody's time. If you are intentional, time won't be wasted. Just try to be for real, because a lot of folks are experiencing trauma from you. You're part of the trauma. And so whenever you are not intentional, and I'm only speaking for men. I can speak for men and women. Whenever you're not intentional, when you are in relationships and marriages, then you leave that person with a nasty taste in their mouth, and they're just carrying it to the next relationship, and the cycle just keeps continuing. So somebody has to stop. And I think it's up for us and our responsibility to make sure that we don't waste each other's time.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sean, your closing or final thoughts for this evening?
Okay. Final thoughts. We got to learn to trust. Basically, the points of view that we were just speaking on is the lack of trust in an individual like myself. You shouldn't be doing it because basically I don't trust what you could do. Cool. I get it. I understand it. It's a very popular position to take. But it is a position rooted in lack of trust. Lack of trust you have in another man, lack of trust we might have in brothers with each other, lack of trust that you have in your girl, in your woman, or your wife. And we need to learn better how to trust one another. And if those people are trustworthy, none of the points of views that are being made are necessary. But unfortunately, it's unbelievable that we can trust people or each other. We need to know how to better trust.
Okay. Hank, your final thoughts? Thank you, Sean.
My final thought, thank you, Precious, for continuing to have these shows and giving us men the opportunity to speak and share with not only with each other, but with the audience. And hopefully they're able to benefit from these conversations that we're having. And the last thing is, black man, protect yourself at all times. Do what you need to do. If that means you need to get on somebody's couch or somebody's Zoom meeting to get some type of therapy, please do it. Diabetes and heart disease is one of the biggest killers amongst black men. So take care of yourself. Make sure your A1C is order. Get you a full physical, not a half physical. Get you a full physical, and make sure you take care of that and your health. Another thing is, a man of a certain age, like Brother Payne and myself, get your colonoscopies and your prostate checks. Colon cancer is a motherfucker, man. I seen it, I witnessed it, and I experienced it with my great-grandfather. And so in order to prevent it, it's a preventable thing as long as you catch it early. Do what you need to do. Don't be afraid to go see the doctor. Don't be afraid to go make your doctor visits. I know there was a stigma back in the days with our grandfathers and our great-grandfathers. I understand. In 2023, we shouldn't have those same issues. So do what you got to do as far as your health and your wealth and your mental. You understand what I'm saying? I believe in nepotism. And that's going to be our time. We're going to rule this world, and we need to pass it on to our children and to pass it on to our children's children. Our time is coming. It's only a matter of time, but I need you to be here healthy and upright in order to help me conquer this world. So black man, do what you need to do.
Thank you, Hank. And we're going to end it with R-Pain.
Yeah, good message. Listen, I just put through a battery of blood tests, urine tests. I got a stress test coming up this week. So that's true. My mother died of colon cancer. So I've had a few screenings. I'm due for another one. So it's true. It's a good message to send men, because unless we're forced, we generally don't get ourselves checked out at all. We got to be almost on the deathbed, So that's some good stuff. So as far as the show, great show. Thanks for having me up, Precious. It's nice hanging out with the fellas, talking about these kind of issues. I think men are more loyal than we get credit for. I believe we're the gatekeepers of marriage. And once we invite a woman in to marry us and she says yes, and we open that gate and let her in, we tend to stay through all kinds of issues. We tend to stay. That's why we don't initiate divorce more than women. And we put up with all kinds of crap, and I just think that, in these spaces, we don't get enough time and enough areas where we could talk about how faithful and how dedicated men are to their families. So I believe in a relationship. I've been married for a long time, and my wife has been very good to me. But I tell you, I think men, well, first of all, we're not in a partnership. I think men are willing to give more to their wives and families than women will ever get back to us. And the reason why I say that is because we don't only take care of our women when they're alive. We make sure we take care of them when we're dead. So listen, all I'm just trying to say is, we don't get enough narrative that comes out to say men in committed relationships, some cheat, but for the very most part, I think men are dedicated to their wives way more than we get credit for. Period. So I'll just leave it there.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you again for being on the panel. I appreciate those who are in the chat, all of your comments and your additives to the conversation. Thank you. Join us again next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And I appreciate you guys that are on the panel. Y'all know what I say. Be real with yourself so you can be real with others. You guys have a great evening.
Go ahead.